was it's the champions have their own, maybe it's their own section of the range.
It's not a totally different one.
Okay, I thought it was a different range altogether. Just pretty cool. Thought that was all neat stuff, being the champion there. Tell us about Shunnarah.
Yeah, and it's our guy Alexander Shunnarah, champion in our community. That was a cheesy segue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Alex would like it, though. His mission was to create a firm that could handle any issue this community faced. So they now handle not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Okay, behind that guy, its head, does that say Hood Mart? Like Food Mart, but Hood Mart? H-O-O-D Mart?
That's Rich Paul he's talking to.
Yeah, founder of Clutch Sports.
It does look like it says
H-O-O-D, Hood Mart?
Yeah, but that's just a...
It's an artist rendering?
Yeah,
okay.
I believe that's a painting.
It is.
It's pretty cool.
Tyler sounds like he says Hood Mart.
Hood Mart is apparently trailer hoods.
Oh, okay.
Trailer hoods, food truck hoods, fire suppression systems.
Who doesn't need a good fire suppression system?
Yeah.
I get mine at Hood Mart.
Expectations.
I wish we were doing lives for Hood Mart.
I do too.
Have you suppressed your fire lately? If not,
Hood Mart.
Hood Mart.
Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire. What are the expectations for him this year? Is there pressure? Because
yes,
apparently north of $22 million they paid for this roster.
Yeah, he's got all the pressure in the world, I think, Lance, because with this billionaire that has launched the NIL, you should be able to go get anybody you want. You should never have to say, our roster just...
Yeah, the problem, though,
here.
for Texas Tech, and again, what will add pressure is, Arizona State did it last year. If Arizona State can win the Big 12, how come you guys can't win the Big 12, especially with the money we're giving you? But I believe, at least right now, the Big 12 is a one-bid league. Would you guys agree with that?
I would agree 100%.
So that's where the problem is. I mean, I could see 4 or 5, 10-2s, and it comes down to a tiebreaker.
Well, they scheduled out a conference like they're trying to get in the playoffs because they play Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. So not a very difficult.
See, that's dangerous because to me, you've got to go in conference. You've got to go probably 8-1.
Okay, you got to win the league.
Yeah, you got to win the league. But I really think you would have to go 8-1.
We're at Utah. That's a tough one for you. You're always like Utah. Yeah. We're at Houston.
It's going to be tougher.
Kansas for homecoming.
A tough game.
At Arizona State. I just don't know if they're going to be. It's a tough game.
They got Tyson back. They got the quarterback back, Levitt.
Oak State at home. At Kansas State. BYU at home. UCF at home. At West Virginia to end the year.
I think there's multiple losses.
Yeah, I don't think they're a playoff team. But there again, if they're 10-2 and just miss out on the conference championship game.
Oh, you can stomach that.
Yeah, you can stomach that one, and then it's all about next year with all the money we're able to spend. I'm fascinated. I've said it a million times. I'm fascinated by this program. This will be the great test of can you legitimately buy a national championship anywhere in America? Like if you could do, would you give me this? If I can buy a national championship at Texas Tech, in theory, I could probably do it at any Power 5 school, right?
Can you give me consensus basketball back before we get to trash? The consensus basketball?
On the next round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
It's a Wednesday now, and we're going to talk a little bit about some big basketball moves. Auburn got a plug-and-play guy, a guy who helped Alabama get to their first ever Final Four, is at another SEC school now, Nick Pringle. We'll get to that. The North Dakota Wiz, Trey Eaglestaff, is stirring some pot this morning. He's got some people
Pots.
Exotic pots.
He's not stirring pot.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of.
Hey, and then there's a Tennessee plane tracker. We'll get to that conspiracy theory.
Do you? I'll save it.
But let's get to the portal that's churning along today, because we've said this spring portal, Brownie. You've actually said it a few weeks ago. It's a spring one. It's not as active as the fall one.
Especially at quarterback, it didn't seem to be.
It's not as active, but this one seems to be more active than it was last year. I mean, we got people that are bouncing around. The most common phrase I've seen going over them this morning has been former Under Armour All-Americans that are hitting the portal. I've got 4 of those that were Under Armour All-Americans coming out of high school that are in the portal this morning. And one storyline to watch, there are a couple of contributors to North Carolina that hit the portal, a corner and an edge that, according to reports, are being lowballed by our boy Bill Belichick at North Carolina.
Well, he's got to buy some Go-Yard purses and freaking Jimmy Choo shoes. I mean, he's got a big expense on his arm.
Have you seen you got the picture ready to go, Forrester? We're debating on whether or not his girlfriend's really in her 20s or not. Is this just PR? Because, I mean, is she really?
She's reportedly 25.
Is that the report? She's reportedly the same age as Taylor?
I know she's in her 20s. I don't know if 25 is the number.
I
did hear something the other day which was really funny. You remember when Belichick and Tom Brady, when it was the beginning of the end, when they said that, Tom Brady cannot have his trainer at the facility
That's
anymore.
right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And now you got Belichick with his chick. He's playing with her on the beach, and she's got snakeskin boots on the sidelines.
But here's the big story that broke yesterday from The Athletic. Is Jordan Hudson is her name.
Correct.
Jordan Hudson. And she doesn't work for North Carolina or the football complex. This is her. Look at this. In the duster on the football field.
It's a Carolina. It almost looks like a snakeskin North Carolina duster.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. Now
duster's an old cowboy.
Yeah, look, and just
knee-high boots.
A normal duster's probably a couple of $grand. That's probably a $10,000 coat. If I'm guessing,
that's probably custom. When you think,
yeah, probably.
Give me one in Carolina blue.
I'm trying to think of the time because I saw Terry Saban at practice.
Crimson Duster,
or at practice at all.
At practice.
I mean, 17 years, I don't know if maybe once or twice.
She was really visible, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but she wasn't at practice on the field.
From a Yahoo story.
Not that I remember.
From a Yahoo story headlined, Bill Belichick's girlfriend's behavior at North Carolina practice turns heads. That's from Monday.
Well, did she show her rack?
Well, I was looking for the age. 40. I'm just reading this for the articles.
She turns heads.
I'm just reading this for the articles.
Okay.
48 years younger than Belichick. So if one of you can get Belichick's age.
Well, that's his birthday today. He's coming up on 4 downs.
Yeah. Really? It's
I have him 73?
He's 73 years old.
73.
That makes her
25.
25.
There's no way.
I don't think so either.
There's
no
she
way. Looks 25.
I don't think she does.
Not.
Taylor looks 18.
Well, that's a good point. Taylor and EG look
that
younger
girl
than
looks 25 for sure.
See, I disagree. Yeah. I think our Taylor looks age appropriate.
What she did.
This girl's lying. It'll come out at some point that this girl is lying about her age.
I'm trying to find out why she was turning heads.
This is not Danny Almonte.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, like Taylor and EG, when they come in here, they don't wear makeup, so they do look a lot younger. That girl is made up. So
that's her on the red carpet.
Yeah. Anyway, her story, according to The Athletic, she does not work officially for North Carolina athletics.
She works for Belichick,
but she instructed coaches, staff members, and the people that run social media to delete and block any social media accounts and commentators who have been critical of the hire of Bill Belichick or have said anything negative about Bill Belichick. And moving forward, if anyone says negative about her man, then you're to block or delete comments?
Well, I would love to get blocked, but I don't follow them. I really don't care enough. I don't know if I was critical. Actually, for North Carolina, I think it's a better hire than Mac Brown. It's a fascinating hire.
I agree.
I think it makes them a must-watch. I mean, it's right there in the realm of Dion, but I've got more confidence in Belichick, and I've got more confidence in the Carolina program.
Like, I would have, if it's just constant and you're just flooding my comment section of negative, yeah, I got no problem with this. Block them, because it's not necessarily about the negative. It's just like, I get it. It's your shtick. You know, you're doing this for a reason. I've never blocked anybody. Well, I block like porn bots and stuff like that, but like an actual person, somebody, I've never blocked anybody. I just mute them so I don't see it.
Too.
Yeah, I just mute so I don't see it. They can say anything they want. I don't see it. I don't care.
I've heard the porn bots things are like rabbits. You block one, you get two.
It probably is true.
You block one, you get two.
Yeah, they've slowed down a lot, though. I don't get as many more. But my favorite is when you get...
Do we still get them in the chat?
Yeah, not as much. I hate it that we've set it up.
I added some extra filter words that
okay,
gets
good.
rid of a lot of them.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because some people, like, I posted something in the chat and it didn't show up. Well, sometimes we've got to filter words to be careful on stuff. So if it's got one of those words, or if it's close to one of those words, sometimes it'll filter out by YouTube, and that's not us doing it. So people are like, you deleted my comment. Like, we didn't delete anything. Tyler has to do that all the time.
I mean,
like,
a sports show it probably leans into that. I mean, balls, heat.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
I will tell you, Lizzie is her name, not to promote her OnlyFans site, but the first response, the last two basketball show posts has been, when I send it out, has been a response that says, "Oh, that looks interesting. I can't wait to watch."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Who's this Lizzie girl? It's always commenting on the basketball show." So I
Does she seem like a bot when you DM her?
No, I don't DM her.
I sent her
but
photos.
Finally clicked on her profile. I was like, "Why is this Lizzie girl always the first to respond to our basketball show?" And I looked, and she's like, OnlyFans. What do you call it? Creator. Yeah.
Content creator.
Lizzie. So I don't know if she's local or not, and it's not an endorsement. So don't go pay how much do you pay for an OnlyFans site? $7.99 a month or something?
That you ask us. Like,
I mean, I would assume it is probably depending on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lizzie apparently a big basketball show fan.
Yeah, she loves the balls.
Is she there for?
Yeah, if she's watching the basketball show, she's probably getting $2.99 on a good day.
But
high heels and hoops.
The thing I've been getting the most, like in Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, and Facebook DMs, is either the exceptionally good-looking female that just shows up and just says hi. You know, this is real.
I don't even click on that
Yeah,
profile.
I know. You just immediately delete those.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, the only reason I ever click on is if they need money.
yeah, well, that's the other thing is
Like, I'm having a hard time right now. This heartbreak situation.
Yeah.
My fortune was stolen. Can you help me out? Absolutely.
I had
Where can I send this money?
I'll just wire it right
Nigeria?
to you, yeah.
Not a problem.
I had a weird one last night. I didn't even open it, but it was. I think they can use where you've been, but it's like, you look like somebody I bumped into in Newark.
Yeah.
And I was like,
really.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
When was I in Newark? Got rid of that one.
Yeah, but the other one too
You
is
were in Newark.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't bump into anybody, I don't think.
The other one is the really good-looking female that wants me to help make a fortune in crypto. Wants to help me make a fortune in crypto. You get those too in DMs.
I don't click on anything crypto anymore.
A lot of times I get DMs that are like from someone I follow and kind of know, but I'm not really close with, and then they ask, like, can you help me get back in my account?
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
how you know that
does not
person's
seem
been
fishy at
hacked.
all,
It's
Tyler.
like,
That's
why
how I
would
got
you
hacked.
be reaching out to me?
Yeah.
You
That's
know
how I got
way more
hacked.
people than me.
Yeah.
That's how I got hacked originally.
Don't do it.
You should have ignored it like you ignore your emails, and you wouldn't have gotten hacked.
Yeah. I'm the one that annoyed. Yeah. Okay, here's the deal on North Carolina. By the way, they've lost their edge rusher, Bo Atkinson, 6'6", had 11 sacks last year.
That's a lot.
11 sacks.
Belichick's a defensive guy too. Are you a bit surprised by that?
So he's off the edge. According to reports, was being lowballed in the NIL department.
I mean, an 11-sack guy is. You heard Hugh Freeze yesterday. What was the quote? You never say no to a good pass rusher.
yeah.
I mean,
you say an 11-sack guy's a good pass rusher.
Jihad Campbell led Alabama with 5 last year.
Yeah. So this guy would have led Alabama by double.
Yeah.
What was the nation lead? Do you think in sacks?
Probably 12 to 15.
I mean, so it's got to be pretty close.
Yeah.
17. Mike Green at Marshall had 17.
And they also lose corner Zion Ferguson, 6'1", who's got 4 years of eligibility and is a former Under Armour All-American. good size at the corner there, and he's walking out the door from North Carolina. Couple other interesting portal guys to get to, but at Auburn, they lose interior offensive lineman Braden Joyner. Started 6 games last year, but if you're following Auburn football right now, did not win a starting job this spring, was not going to be a starter. So
this is what happens.
He would have been a depth guy, but he hits the portal.
But he's probably guaranteed a starting position somewhere else.
Really?
I would think so, yeah.
The Dylan Wade and Jeremiah Wright has beat him out for the guard position. So Joyner is in the portal, and we'll see who else jumps in there.
Let me ask you, just to use Marshall as an example, if you're Joyner and Marshall's like, we guarantee you a starting position, we're going to pay you $100,000 more than you were making, would you rather be in the mix for depth at a program like Auburn, or would you rather start for Marshall and make a little bit more money?
So Marshall's actually going to pay me a little bit more money?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather stay at Auburn for almost the same amount of money and be depth and could potentially, throughout the course of the year, be the starter, contribute enough where I'm going to make more money down the road.
Yeah, here's probably the number one question I would ask, whether it was my kid or my client. Are you happy where you are? If the answer is no, then let's figure it out. But if you are...
Well, some of it, too, is what's your life goal? I mean, 99% of these guys want to play in the NFL, and like 5% of them are going to.
But I do believe the known is a lot better sometimes.
Yeah, even if you're a backup.
Even if you're a backup. I mean, you started 6 games, so you're still going to have an opportunity, unless he was just told, hey, look, we're really not going to have you're not going to be in the mix this year.
We'll talk college football with Connor O'Gara coming up at 10 o'clock to start hour 2, 10 o'clock Central Time. Before we continue with the football conversation and do the next step of the Nico Iamaleava saga, which is very interesting to a lot of people as we're into the portal now officially, my thought on the future, I thought about this yesterday. Is there a way the NFLPA, the union, could somehow, under some extended umbrella, bring in every college football player?
No, you wouldn't. Here's why. Have you seen somebody suggest this?
No, it's my own thinking, because I believe at some point the NFL should have an interest in the way college football is being run, because it is their free farm system to the National Football League. And sending that thought out a little bit.
I think the problem, though, is the owners know that, but the players want to play as long as they can, and so they don't want guys coming into their territory.
But that's what I'm saying. If the NFLPA and the NFL get in a working arrangement with college football and start to help out some of this stuff that's going on, that you can, like, we're not far from losing this. You got to be 3 years before you can enter the NFL, because it's going to be challenged in court. Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State, according to multiple NFL scouts, would be a top 5 pick this year.
Oh, depending on the team drafting, he could go number 1 overall. Yeah. He's that good.
So
Julio Jones would have been in that situation back in the day. But it's few and far between guys that are physically ready.
I know, but so what? I mean, he's going to play another whole year with Ohio State. You put Ryan Williams, who's number 2 on the list, second best wide receiver in the country, into this category.
He'd be a first-round guy, for sure.
But Jeremiah Smith would be a top 5 pick right now. He's got to come back and play another year now, and then would have to play another year before he can go to the NFL. How does, after this next year, does Jeremiah Smith's camp not question this in court and say...
There's no... that you can't. You can't. Well, I mean, I guess you can question it in court, but I don't know how it gets overturned, because... It is the NFLPA. I don't know if this would fall under antitrust.
It's a collective bargaining.
That's right. They've collectively bargained that a player, to be eligible to play in the NFL, must be 3 years removed from high school graduation. So whatever year he graduates high school plus 3 years, he is eligible for the NFL draft. That's agreed upon. A lot of people, for some reason, think that's an NCAA rule. It's not at all. NCAA has nothing to do with it, in fact. It is an NFLPA rule. The teams and players have collectively bargained this. So I don't know how a court case is going to overturn a collectively bargained agreement like that.
Should be case by case, though. Like, there's savants that graduate high school at 12, right?
That's right.
And there's kids that are going to college at 16 years old, or whatever the age is. It really should be case by case because I think Jeremiah Smith and even Ryan Williams to a degree, these are guys that they're literally 1 in 1,000. You just don't. You're going to get 1 or 2 of these cases every year where you can make a legitimate argument.
But don't.
That's it.
But don't think. I don't. This rule may be labeled as one. Well, we think it's safer to let them play in college before they get to the NFL. But the truth of this is, it just. Whenever this started, it delayed guys getting to the NFL, so that group of veterans had more years to play.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not the owners, because the NFL owners would love to go ahead and get Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, I mean, somebody in the top 5 would take Jeremiah Smith today.
Right. It's the players,
correct,
the
exactly.
veteran players who are part of the NFLPA who are saying, okay, let's keep these college kids coming in from pushing me out of the league.
That's right. And somewhere along the way, they probably gave up a little less money in contracts, which the owners are like, okay, I'm cool with that, so I don't get to draft Jeremiah Smith, but I don't have to pay this guy as much. I mean, that's obviously, that's very elementary the way bargaining works. The problem with the college players being in it is, do they get a seat at the table? Because if I'm an NFL player, I don't want a college player dictating how the NFL works.
No. I was only saying the NFLPA could help with the rights of basically their farm system. Because at some point, the players are going to have some collective bargaining that's going to have to go on. And if the NFLPA, which is established, was sort of running that for the college players, let them be sort of a pseudo, like I'm a member of the Football Writers Association, U.S. Basketball Writers Association. If I was a student, I could, at half the fees, I could enter for what I'm paying.
Here's where I would be most interested, and I think this would clean up a lot of the mess we have. Is that the NCAA somehow makes an agreement with the NFLPA where, and I don't know how all this would work. I'm just saying it out loud for the first time, so there are probably several holes in this, obviously. But any NIL deals or any representative of a player has to be an NFLPA-approved agent. That would be so beneficial to the players.
Oh, because
they don't know it, but it would be.
That's where Nico's getting screwed.
It's where a lot of guys are getting screwed, is because they've got agents that can't represent them in the NFL, so they have to bilk them for all the money they can get in 3 years. And
I don't know if you've got enough agents out there. I know that sounds crazy, but you think about every player is basically represented. I would think, 90% of the players on Power Fours, and then 25 to 50% on some of these mid-majors.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if the numbers would work.
Yeah. Which, that would be a good problem for the agencies to have. Now they're having to hire more agents, obviously.
Well, I would say if you just go with the Power 4 conferences, you have to be, if you're dealing with an agent, it's got to be an NFLPA agent.
But could you not do this just real quick, not to hijack
you're all good.
your point?
We're working it out loud. The first time I've ever thought of it.
If you had extensions of that agency, so basically runners that were they established the relationships, and then the guy that actually got the deal done was the agent that was certified.
Well, right, because in the example of an NFL player, you could negotiate his contract with Ford or Coca-Cola or Bojangles or whatever, but it's his contract that the NFLPA-approved agent is the only one that can do.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't, and in the college game, I don't know. I just think if we're going to have NIL deals with these schools, there's going to have to be some guidelines on how that's done, much in the same way the NFL does it.
It's why the portal is churning the way it is. A couple of our sponsors, before we look at, we got a conspiracy jet tracker coming up after we tell you about lanceslock.com. Lanceslock.com. My Tampa Bay Rays beat Boston the other night 16-1, largest margin of victory in Rays history. Turnaround last night, lose to Boston, where Alex Bregman had 5 hits, 2 home runs, and now he's taking a few days off. He's going to go on a paternity leave with his wife, who's going to deliver the second child.
Yeah, I almost had the Red Sox last night. Did have another winning night. 28-16 on the Major League Baseball season. 64% clip to start it out. We've got both play-in games tonight in the NBA. We've got 1 game in Major League Baseball. Jump on and win with us. Free play every single day at lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, 16 great locations around Alabama to help you stay on top of your health. 205-930-0009. 930-0920, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Great guys there that will help you, men and women there that will help you stay on top of your health, prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies when you get to that point of your journey. If you choose to go that route, everything. They've got you covered in a great professional way. And early detection so important. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Okay, Forrester brings me this story, and we're going to big, bold, flashing lights here. Conspiracy theory may not be real, could be just all internet fodder, all of that. But we love in college football, especially the South, a good school jet tracker. Tennessee's jet happened to be.
By the way, how accurate are the jet trackers?
Oh, it's FAA.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, when you hear the story, do you ever believe it?
Well, as Forrester and I pointed out, vintage Vol right here, that picture could be any airport in the world on any day in the history of time.
That's right.
But that is the Vol school plane, and it is at an airport. Now, we're led to believe that was yesterday in Tampa. Why Tampa, Jim? I'm told a quarterback of a Power 4 school lives in the Tampa area, is where he's from, a little guy named Rocco Beck of Iowa State. And
his dad used to be in Tampa, right?
He did. Boy, I don't see Rocco leaving Iowa State for Tennessee.
Oh, boy, that's a big upgrade.
It's a big upgrade, but Rocco Beck seems like one of the guys that looking. I don't know him. He seems like somebody that has put in the time there. They played for a championship last year. I just don't think he's a guy that would leave his teammates.
Let me ask you if you think is part of that perception the fact that Dan Campbell, is that his name? No,
the Lions coach?
Matt Campbell of Iowa State, that he's been that guy at Iowa State, that he has never left. And do you think you're believing that in Rocco Beck because that's what his coach has done?
Take any situation. If you're the quarterback for multiple years at a Power 4 and it's the middle of April and you leave your teammates after spring just to go to a better situation, I don't know. I mean, that just...
Oh, you could almost...
I mean, you almost can't blame the kid, but at the same time you can. Like, everybody talking about Nico and how greedy he is and, you know, him basically using this leverage and basically flushing his team. Would this not be the same thing from Rocco on the other side?
Oh, it was. It would be, 100%, because he'd be getting more money and he'd be going into a
better situation. Yeah. But again, like for Rocco, you know, if I'm Matt Campbell, you know, look, I want you to be happy. You know, we're not going to be able to probably achieve the things we want to achieve without you. But I do want to remind you, we were a half away from getting to a college football playoff last year.
Yeah.
So we're really, really close. I mean, right now, who's got a better chance at a college football playoff, Tennessee or Iowa State? I mean, I would say Tennessee.
No, I mean, that's not automatic. Yeah. I mean, Iowa State
was
just in their conference championship game.
Yeah, I mean, they were 11-win team last year.
And you just, I mean, really, in reality, had the Alabama-Tennessee game just gone the other way, Alabama's in, Tennessee's out. So it shows you just how easy it can change, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you let Alabama find a way to win that game.
I would like to see Rocco play week in and week out in the SEC because I'm a guy that's a big fan of his game. I think he's really, really good. I don't know if he's ever going to play in the NFL. He's a little undersized. But if I'm Matt Campbell, I'm also selling the fact that, you know who starts at quarterback for San Francisco?
Who?
A guy named Brock Purdy, a guy that played for me.
Where was he drafted?
Yeah, he was drafted
last.
Yeah, last, but he was an Iowa State guy.
Lance is not going to like this comment, Dunaway. Rocco Beck, to me, is a little better Diego Pavia.
Man, I totally disagree.
I know you do. I knew you wouldn't like it.
I think Rocco Beck has a much better passing skill set than Diego Pavia. I don't think Diego throws the ball.
What do you imagine his completion percentage is?
Who, Rocco Beck?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it at 56.
What do you think Diego Pavia's was?
By the way, 56 is not good at all.
51?
Yeah, this is not Jeff Berger in 1987.
They were both at 59%. I mean, the percentages tell you through one season they are about the same passer.
Yeah, but one's playing the tough defense.
I like watching both play. I don't want to take anything away from Pavia. I thought Pavia was great this year for Vanderbilt. I just think Beck is a better quarterback.
I mean, touchdowns were 25-9, touchdown interception for Beck, 20 to 4 for Pavia. Now, yardage is the big difference. Beck played through for a lot more yardage.
How legitimate is this? Like, I'm very intrigued now.
Did you miss the part where I said big flashing red lights? This is all internet conspiracy theory. We don't even know if that's a real plane in a real airport in America.
But I mean, Rocco Beck is a weird grab, a weird pull, So, like, there's got to be a little bit of smoke or a little fire to the smoke.
Okay, somewhere between Rocco Beck and Virginia Tech quarterback Davey Belfort, who's 5'11", a former Under Armour All-American who hit the portal yesterday with 4 years of eligibility.
Got to be honest, I've never heard of the kid.
Yep, me neither.
Yeah, but he's a quarterback in the portal. Could he be the guy that fills a 1 year hole in Knoxville? I don't know. Somewhere in between those two.
But again, next quarterback? If you're Josh Heupel, would you guys agree with this? Rocco Beck, yeah, because you've seen him. He's a proven product. But you're not going to go out there and roll the dice on one of these guys that's in the portal that you're not 100% sure it's an upgrade, because what does that say to your other 2 quarterbacks in that room?
I agree completely. How big an upgrade do you think Beck is from Iamaleava? Nico?
From Nico, I mean, he's
marginal upgrade.
He's an upgrade. Like, let's say that we think Nico is a C+, Rocco's a B-, B+.
Yeah, so I haven't really.
It's a grade.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I would love to have some of that over 8.5 if Rocco Beck was the guy.
Yeah. You're a fan. I knew you were a fan because I knew when I said the Pavia line, you were not going to like it.
Yeah. I'd love to have a little bit of that over 8.5 if it's
Rocco Beck.
Okay, tell us about the Golfus. One more thing to get to in this opening segment. We'll do basketball portal stuff in the next segment. It's crazy that basketball and football's churning at the same time. Connor O'Gara back to football to start hour number 2 of the show. The Golfus gets you indoors when the weather's not right.
It does. Always 70 degrees, the Golfus. There's never any wind. You don't have to worry about rain. You just go enjoy Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators there at the Golfus. I'm going to give you the website where you can get all this information and you can book a bay for yourself, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com. 3 great locations, Vestavia, Trussville, and Highway 280. You bring your own food, you bring your own drink, you bring your own alcohol, you bring your own clubs, and you come have a great time. Games are on in the bay while you're playing golf, so you can keep up with the basketball playoffs or the live golf. The golf courses you see on TV over the weekend, you can play them right there at the Golfus, and that's any weekend that you see them on TV, they're going to be right there at the Golfus. So you can go have fun doing that. Listen, office meetings, boring, right? Make it a team-building session, have some fun with your employees, and get the meeting done at the Golfus. Get out of the office, get in the Golfus, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com.
Gender reveals, are we over them?
Yep.
You like them, you dislike them?
Way over them.
I'll tell you the first one I ever remembered, we were out at what do you call it? The Met. What's it called now?
Regions.
Yeah.
Field.
But I remember Peter Burns had done one where he hit the golf ball. That was the first ever gender reveal I remember.
Really? Yeah. On the 7th at Pebble Beach. I remember Peter doing it.
But that was probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've done a variety of them, but this is the first time I've ever seen this happen. Before you show me the picture, Forrester, Bryce Harper and his lovely wife, Kayla, are expecting a baby, and they had a game last night. So Kayla reached out to Trey Turner, Bryce's teammate. And Bryce and Kayla had come up with a plan where we're going to have a Victus bat that Bryce gets made there from the Victus company. One's going to be blue, one's going to be pink. Had them shipped over to Trey Turner, had someone who knew the gender to let Trey know via text right before Bryce's first at-bat last night in a game, and you hand him the bat of the gender of our new baby, and then Bryce goes up and bats with the bat.
Wow. So the first time he finds out is when he's about to go out on deck.
Yep. So if you're going to do this, how do you play it if you're Trey Turner? You've got 2 bats. Bryce knows it's coming.
I'm holding them both.
Yep.
And I'm going to, if I'm doing it, I'm going to mess with him. I'm going to hold them both. He's going to go to the on-deck circle with his normal bat, and I'm going to hand it to him right as he's about to go to the plate. I want him as emotional as possible.
I was about to say, I don't think you really want him that emotional going to the plate.
It's a regular season game in April. It's not the playoffs.
Trey Turner swinging the pink bat.
Right.
And Bryce walks up to him and says, I knew it was going to be a girl, blah, 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 blah. And then he reaches behind, hands him the blue, throws the pink, says, you're not going to need this one. Bryce steps to the plate with the blue bat last night.
Wow. That is actually pretty cool.
Okay,
That's creative.
Home run, base hit, Pop-up, ground-out, strikeout.
I'm going to say ground out.
I'm going to say pop-up.
How about a strikeout?
Well, at least didn't break the bat. Keep it forever now.
Hey, can you see it? Like if Bryce is one of those hard-ass dads. I knew you were a piece of shit. First time I had any contact with you, I couldn't even make contact.
Struck out with that bat.
Pretty cool gender reveal. Congratulations to Bryce Harper, who's an athlete I didn't like early in his career, like more as his career's gone on.
He was one of those guys that you got to give a little bit of a break to somebody that's a phenom at 15 or 16. I remember him hitting those bombs in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, he's lived up to the hype.
And
probably exceeded it.
He's exceeded it.
Yeah.
One of the few that can do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you're right, LT, because he was a teenage phenom on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And you had SportsCenter highlights of him hitting those bombs.
Yeah, and I don't want
Tampa.
to say his dad exploited him, but, I mean.
Batting practice in Las Vegas. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting it over the line standards.
Yeah, and he was using a wooden bat in high school, right?
Yeah.
Just to basically say, I'm getting ready for the major leagues. I don't need this aluminum crap.
And I think that sometimes pushes people the wrong way, but
He didn't want to kill a pitcher, right?
yeah.
He might have with an aluminum. That guy could turn it.
So, pretty neat reveal.
Would
there.
you have wanted to stand out on the hot corner?
No.
Our friends at NASCAR getting ready to race next weekend. And we got the NFL draft 1 week from tomorrow night. We got NASCAR next weekend. All that's going on. Browning NASCAR. Get those tickets.
Yeah, Jack Link's 500 weekend is coming up April 24th through 27th at Talladega Superspeedway. You can see more at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. If you've never been, you are missing out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed, incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Link's 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 25 through 27. Get your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
And our friends at Iron City, Kodar Productions. We got a chance to relive the 90s with Brother Kane.
Yeah, hey, Kodar Productions presents Brother Kane with Cage Willis and Miles Morgan, Iron City this Saturday. Remember, if you had tickets for the March show that got canceled because of the inclement weather, those tickets will be honored. But if you want to purchase tickets, very simple, tickets at IronCityBham.com. It is coming up this Saturday. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. Kodar Productions presents Brother Kane. For more information and to get those tickets, IronCityBham.com.
Now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round. The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway, is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Basketball portal stuff in a second, and then back to college football. But LT had come with some working knowledge that I can't transfer in the spring from SEC to SEC. What'd you say? You didn't think it would stand up, right?
Well, no, I didn't say that. What I heard from somebody that is very well versed in this, talked to somebody at CAA, and they said if Nico was my client, and let's just hypothetically say Mississippi State wanted him to transfer there, we would challenge that. We would file an injunction, and we would see what happens.
Yesterday on the golf course, I got to talk to a lawyer friend of mine who I explained to him the rule. He's a big college football fan. He knows the rule. He says the first thing that would jump out at a judge and for me, if I was going to attack it from a player wanting to go SEC to SEC, is collusion. That's 16 organizations working to prevent me from moving and making money from one institution to another.
We do have a friend coming on tomorrow that
he could answer this.
Yeah,
maybe.
A guy from athletes.org, Jim Cavall. He's going to come on to talk about the Nico situation. He is going to explain this in layman's terms because it really is complicated. Everybody talks about guardrails and what's going to happen July 1st with new legislation and rev share and all this kind of stuff. He is going to try to break it down where everyone can understand it.
It's interesting that that would be the challenge. I just don't know how quick that court case could go. I mean, that would be the problem, right?
Yeah. What do we learn happens before that? They end up what's the word?
Discovery? Is that what you're talking about?
What did Pavia get to so he could play?
Oh, an injunction?
Injunction, yeah.
I mean, I guess that would be what you would hope, right?
Yeah,
is that I get an injunction.
That's what they talked about. Now, I guess on the backside of that, you can file the injunction, but if he does play and then it gets overturned at the end of this, then you got to forfeit all those games, right?
No, I mean, the NCAA came in and said on the Diego Pavia thing.
That's true.
For this
there's
one
an
year,
injunction,
for this 1 year with this injunction hanging out there, all junior college players get an extra year.
Yeah, that would be what Nico would hope is a judge gives them an injunction, and then the NCAA has to do that. Like, well, we can't have the ruling come down mid-season, so we're just going to say this 1 year, where it really wouldn't be the NCAA, it'd be the SEC. It'd have to be Greg Sankey and the member institution say, all right, to be fair, we can't have this come down in the middle of the season. Anybody right now in this spring portal can go school to school. You want to talk about Wild Wild West.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
A lot of people, Lance, are talking about this Georgia running back that's in the portal right out of the chute today. Branson Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, Branson Robinson, there are probably some SEC schools that would take this kid right now.
Well, I was going to say, look, I think we're all pro player. I'm really, I hesitate on this one because if you really didn't have any rules and guys could, you're right, the Wild West. I mean, if you could transfer in conference.
No, that's exactly. SEC to SEC would be, it would kill the conference. It would hurt it won't kill it. It would hurt the conference tremendously.
Well, you would just, some of these coaches, they hate each other so much. Some of these players just, okay, I'm not going to start for you. You know what? I'm going to go start for the rival.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine you're a 2 at Alabama, but maybe you're a 1 at Arkansas. Or you're a 2 at Tennessee, maybe you're a 1 at Vandy.
Yeah.
And that's what would happen. The 2s would be 1s. And
I saw some speculation yesterday that Nico, one of his Final Fours, and again, how much of this is true, was Alabama. I would love to see it.
Why?
Just for the drama.
Just for the stories?
Oh, my God. Can you imagine if Nico transferred to Alabama and started for Alabama?
Well, that's bad news if he starts for Alabama.
That's what I'm saying, Brownie.
I don't know about that.
Let me beat everybody to the punch in the chat room.
Yeah, I know. I bet
I would not want him in Tuscaloosa. I don't think he's good enough to hold a quarterback's jockstrap in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, you are crazy.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I haven't seen Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I would say the Russell kid will end up being better, but right now, I bet Nico is better than Ty Simpson.
No.
And Austin Mack.
No.
Yes.
I don't know about Austin Mack, but I would take Keelan Russell as a teenager before I'd take Nico. I would take Ty Simpson unseen before I would take Nico.
So is this breaking news? If, in fact, the 1 in 1,000 chance that Nico comes to Tuscaloosa, would you not pull for your beloved Tide?
No, you would find a way to justify
I'll pull for
it.
the 21.
Yeah, you find a way to justify
In spite of him, I hope he throws 3 picks and we win by 1 today.
Keep in mind, I don't know. I forget how many years, but I had Jameis Winston as my quarterback.
You know what? I really
and that was the one. I was like, anywhere but Tampa, Jameis.
I don't think.
Tampa.
See, Nick Saban's a guy that could get away with that. I don't think Kalen DeBoer could risk something like that. Do you guys agree?
The fans would not.
I don't think he would have interest in it.
Okay, but if he did, though, can you imagine if you brought Nico in and you went 8-4?
Yeah.
Oh, the fans would not be happy with the
move. It would be way too risky.
Show being brought to you today by a couple of great folks, including Dr. B, who's got LT's hair looking really good, Brown's looking good, and mine he couldn't help.
Well, look, I mean, that is the integrity that our man Dr. Beckenstein's got. He told Dunaway, I can't help you. Those follicles are dead. He told me and Brown, I think we can work with this.
It's hope.
He had better bedside manner than that.
Those follicles.
I thought he said your follicles are dead,
He said
man.
probably a little too late for you. We can try if you want, is what he said.
Okay.
But I would say probably a little too late, Jim. It was a little nicer than your follicles are dead.
It's good to see you again.
Oh, by the way, I was at our friend's Lags the other day. I don't know if we got a Lags thing coming up.
Yeah, why don't you save it for that?
Okay, well, I was going to tell you about. Yeah, okay, I will.
Oh, no,
I will.
We can do back-to-back if you want. Right?
Great cheeseburger.
It really is. Dr. B, though, best in the business for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use his experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call that great staff today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
And our wonderful friends at Lags, where Brownie the cheeseburger is
fantastic.
Yeah.
I went in and got the original. Yeah, let me tell you, don't sleep on those fries. They're crinkle cut shoestring fries.
Yeah.
Which that you don't see those very much. It's not the big, thick crinkle cut. It's kind of a skinnier
I hadn't had the fries. Maddie was in town on Sunday, and I was like, we got to go, for us, 20-minute drive, but it's well worth it. You got to try this burger. We did the deluxe burger with the tater tots. But what I was going to say, a stone's throw away is Mom's basement, but right above Mom's basement is a tattoo parlor, and there were people lined up. It was like 30 deep.
At the tattoo
before
parlor?
It opened. Yeah, and I was like,
wow.
What could be going on there? And then Maddie was like, it's Flash Tattoo Day.
What's
and
that
so
mean?
Jeeves knows all about this.
Well,
I had heard about it before, but you basically, and this is why you're starting to see more people are tatted up. There's a certain day of the week or a certain day of the month that you go and you get quick tattoo, and they've got like $100 tattoos, $200 tattoos, $300 tattoos, and they're just little small tattoos, and you're like, that's the one I want. You go in 5 minutes they can give you a flash tattoo, right?
Yep, and on a lot of shops do a Friday the 13th special where tattoos will be $13 or $31, and it'll be flash, and they'll have lines wrapped around the block for it.
Have you gotten one, Jeeves?
That's where I got the little Jason on my knee.
Okay.
Yeah, that cost me $30.
Hey, get one of a deluxe burger from our friends at Lags, though. Conveniently located between Avondale, Cahaba, stone's throw away from Mom's Basement. Stop in for lunch, dinner, brunch on Sundays, late night till 2 a.m. on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Cold beer there as well. Get in, see Justin, Eric, all the fine folks right there at Lags. It was a Homewood tradition for years and years and years. They have recreated it, and it is absolutely fantastic.
In the portal yesterday, Auburn got a starter. This guy will be a plug-and-play starter for Auburn in basketball. Keshawn Murphy was at Mississippi State from Ramsey High School. He has gotten better and better every year in college. 6'10 guy, 11-7, led Mississippi State in rebounds and blocks. So he gives you a little bit of what Cardwell and Broom. You're not replacing Janai Broom, but this guy is a plug-and-play. Doing a little research, Auburn had to beat these teams who were in hard on getting Keshawn Murphy: Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Alabama. So a big get there for Bruce Pearl and company down at Auburn to get Keshawn Murphy there.
A kick to the junk for Chris Jantz, because you got Hubbard coming back, and with Murphy, your two top scorers, and you can build around those guys. And you just wonder, Mississippi State, where are they right now on their collective? Because, as an SEC institution, I know Murphy is obviously trading up and going to a better program, but, man, that's one of those guys that you've got to be able to keep.
You do. And for Auburn, Brown, this is how you start to reconstruct the starting lineup. You don't know about Tahad yet, but if you get Tahad Pettiford back, you think you're getting Chad Baker back. You add
two starters.
You add Keshawn Murphy, plug-in starter.
That's right.
You add Keshawn Hall.
They're going to lead the league in Keshawns, aren't they? Yeah,
from UCF. Led the Big 12 in scoring. He's a starter.
There's four starters right there, and you've got to figure out the fifth one, right?
You've got a really good recruiting class coming in. One of those guys is a projected starter.
You're probably not done in the portal, or you may not be done in the portal.
So are we sure that the ship has sailed on Chaney Johnson?
Not 100%, but I would still bet heavily against that one.
I mean,
that's your fifth starter.
Well, what this move might show you that
they're at least hedging, right? Yeah.
So there is the reconstruction of that Auburn staff. And by the way, Keshawn Hall, the guy coming from UCF, if you want to see a conversation with him, we had the opportunity, Taylor and I, in the summer edition of the Basketball Show to interview him. It dropped last night. You can enjoy that online on our YouTube channel, the Basketball Show, just under videos there. Always set your alerts for any new content that is dropped by all of us here at the Next Round. Keshawn Hall joined us on the Basketball Show, why he picked Auburn and what he expects when he gets down on the plains. Also in basketball news yesterday, Nick Pringle. And I sort of said this is like when you, back in high school or college, when you'd break up with a girl, and then she'd start dating a guy that maybe was an upgrade from you, or was at least somebody else. There were a lot of people wanting to date this girl all of a sudden, and you were like, man, did I mess up breaking up with that girl? Did I make a mistake? Nick Pringle has signed with John Calipari in Arkansas. 9-6 last year at South Carolina. When he went to South Carolina, I was like, but now he's at Arkansas.
You're like, what?
I was like, cast off.
Lamont Paris, same thing. Colin Murray Bowles gone to the NBA. Now you lose Pringle.
Yeah.
I mean, sadly, South Carolina and Mississippi State take shots for other teams to get better.
My point, though, on Nick Pringle is that a guy Alabama could use next year?
Probably so. I mean, he started all 32 games this year. He averaged 9-6, shot 57% from the field. Those numbers, you would think those numbers go from 9-6 to maybe 12-8. I mean, that's a good contributor.
But do you think it's difficult for Nate Oates and staff to forget the fact that they had to tell him in Tuscaloosa, if you can find your way to Spokane, you can play. If not, have your locker cleaned out when we get back to Tuscaloosa? I mean, don't you think that's probably hard to forget?
Got to give him credit. He found his way.
And he played.
He did.
He and Taylor flew up there together, and he played.
So Pringle is at Arkansas. They also get Malik Ewan from Florida State, who was 14-7, 14.7 rebounds at Florida State, big 6'11 guy. So Arkansas reloading. Ole Miss yesterday gets Kansas guard A.J. Storr to Ole Miss. Now, he only averaged 6 in that disastrous year in Kansas last year, 16 the year before at Wisconsin. So he's at a new school. And they got Corin Johnson from Louisville, who didn't play last year because of an injury, but he has a big ceiling. So Ole Miss got 2 big players yesterday. And Chris Beard, who is staying at Ole Miss, reloaded there in basketball as well. So the changing landscape of college basketball equally as fast-moving as college football. And that included, Brownie, today, an Alabama fan favorite, sorta, that had gone to South Carolina, but he's back in the portal.
That is Trey Eaglestaff, the big shooter that Alabama got to see up close and personal. Anytime we talked Alabama analytics, like Ken Palm ranking or Torvik ranking or Evan Mabaya ranking, people would be like, man, if you take that North Dakota State game, or North Dakota, whichever one, I always forget which one it was. If you take that game out of the mix, Alabama's analytics look totally different. It was in large part because that guy, didn't he put 40 on the Tide that night? Right about that? Put 40 on the Tide that night. And he was committed to South Carolina, back uncommitted to South Carolina now, so I guess technically never left the portal, I guess is the way that works. I don't know if he left and he's back in. But either way, he's open. Jeff Goodman is dropping heavy hints Kentucky on this one.
Wow.
Looking at Jeff Goodman, field of 68, Kentucky is the heavy hint he's dropping on this one.
So UK, Alabama didn't pack him on the carry-on after he dropped 40 on him.
They did not. It was your recommendation,
and he
right?
dropped 51 on South Dakota State earlier this year.
That's a big rivalry, too.
South Carolina never really touched it down in Columbia. Could end up with Big Blue Nation there in the SEC, and Alabama would have to face him not once.
What goes wrong for him
twice.
to not sign ultimately with South Carolina?
It's a good question.
Better offer from Kentucky, more money, who's overpaying for guys like Mo Diabate.
Yeah, boy, this has got to be so frustrating for these coaches.
So that's what's got to happen, though, right, is Kentucky probably didn't get a guy they thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
So now we circle back to Eaglestaff, and he's like, oh, you're back to me. So
and how
all of a
much?
sudden, you know what I've got? I got a little leverage here. Yeah. I didn't have it before. I got it now.
So that's the moving parts in college basketball. LT mentioned Colin Murray Boyles going to the NBA, where he could play his way into a lottery top 15 type pick in the NBA draft. Before we get to the viewing menu brought to you by Michelson, I want to tell you about Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Listen, I'm wanting to stay right where I am, 173 to 177 when we get to football season. We'll talk football with Connor O'Gara at the top of the hour in college football. But Way to Wellness has helped me get down to this weight. That's helped my golf game. It's helped my walking/running, just everything. I just feel so much better these days thanks to Way to Wellness, Leslie and her board-certified team. Planforme.com. Planforme.com is the website. No contract, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation's free. You go into that consultation, and Leslie lays out a whole bunch of ways to help you with your weight loss and to control cholesterol and blood pressure. One of the ways is injection therapy, if that's interesting to you. Meal replacements. I use these protein bars. I'm about to have one at the top of the hour as a snack that sort of ties me over for breakfast or in between lunch and dinner. I eat what I want for lunch and dinner, but I try to eat healthy when I can, and that helps me with my weight loss. And it helps you maintain your weight loss. So all that with the Way to Wellness. Learn more right there at planforme.com. Planforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. And our friends at Michelson, they bring you the viewing menu.
Yeah, 205-969-8100 to view life, everyday life in high definition. Go see our friends, Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business in my opinion. Got the procedure done over 2 decades ago. Still have 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Got a few different things that I've been meaning to watch, and one new addition to streaming that I think everyone should see. First off, at 7 p.m. on AMC, you've got Air. This is also streaming on Prime. I've been meaning to watch this. It's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon telling the story of how Nike was able to sign Michael Jordan as a rookie.
Yeah, it's a really good story, and it's kind of the shoe wars back in the day, and I think you gain a lot of appreciation for everybody involved, all parties. I mean, it was mean, especially Sonny Vaccaro, to be able to identify Michael Jordan that young as being a guy that could be the ambassador. And you just wonder where Nike is without Michael Jordan.
No, I've still not seen it, but I've not heard anything but good reviews on it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yep, I've been meaning to get to it. On Peacock, if you're a Peacock subscriber, you can now watch Oppenheimer. This is one of the best movies I think you can see in a theater, but it'd be good to see it at home, too, if you haven't already seen it.
How long is it?
It's long.
It's pretty long.
It's like 3 hours, right?
Yeah, you would have to break
It's good,
it up
though.
into
Yeah, a double feature for me right there.
No, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for you.
That's right. Post golf, get an hour at a time.
And then finally, on Hulu and Disney Plus, another movie I've been meaning to watch, and that's Prey. This is the prequel to Predator, and it's about a Comanche warrior protecting her tribe from one of the first evolved predators to land on Earth.
Yeah, really, really good, especially obviously if you like that franchise. But I just thought it was so well done to be able to take those periods in time and to be able to bring it to life like that. I stumbled across it years ago, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yep, I need to watch that tonight. That will probably be the one I watch tonight.
Yeah, Prey is better than Air, but both are really good.
So Prey, Prey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, Easter weekend, I didn't want people to get confused
Right.
and
That's
go
a good
in
point.
thinking.
Yes. Good Friday's coming up. We're going to watch Prey.
Yeah, Pray. Oh, no, incorrect. There.
When does Jesus show up in this one? Wrong movie, sorry.
Hey, Theo Von and Lane Kiffin, if you're a fan of Theo Von humor.
Saw him Friday night in Tuscaloosa.
Did you go over there for that?
Good show.
How about that?
You weren't a fan going in, so.
No, look,
Yeah.
I mean,
a fan coming out?
His really off-color jokes were funny, but then he gets on these rants. Like, so they had so it was supposed to start at 8:00. The opener started at like 8:15. He went for about 15 or 20. Then the next guy, and then Theo got on stage about 9. It went for about an hour. I thought the first guy was the funniest, but I will tell you this: just looking around, I had 3 teenagers with me, and they were laughing their asses off. They absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Theo Von loves him.
Which is really good for Theo's future, that the teenagers like it.
Yeah, because I just I thought he was funny in spots, but boy, he drags.
Yeah. The Lane Kiffin interview it's a good interview. Go check it out.
I saw that piece, but Lane kills it. Like, Lane doesn't need to comment. Lane, anything that is funny out of Theo gets flown into the mountain by Lane not being funny.
Yeah.
Lane might be one of the least funny people ever.
Lane's funniest moments in his life are on Twitter.
On
Like,
Twitter,
if you
100%.
read Twitter, that is the funniest Lane Kiffin ever gets.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%. All right. Conor O'Gara, college football. When we come back, the show being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Tell us about Woodhouse.
Just a great place. Look, if you need some relaxation on your own, great place to treat yourself. But, maybe you want to go play golf all weekend. Maybe you got a guys trip coming up. Send the wife or girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa. She is going to absolutely love it. And here's the great thing. You can stop and see Stuart and the incredible staff. Tell them the Next Round sent you, conveniently located at the Summit Shopping Centers, or you can order that special person gift card online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let her choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatments, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
The biggest, baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Superspeedway. The Jack Links 500 weekend coming back April 25th through 27th. If you have grown up around here and have never spent a weekend at the Talladega Superspeedway, I'm just telling you, you're missing out. It is an incredible show. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Even if you're not a NASCAR fan, the people watching is undefeated there. The action, the sound, the power, I mean, it's just incredible. You feel it in your soul. Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th for the Jack Links 500 weekend. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Conor O'Gara talks college football next.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, our friends at Hemp Hill gets us to our conversation with Connor O'Gara, the Hemp Hill developing news on Nico Iamaleava. He was into the portal officially today with a do not contact. ESPN first report that last night, which tells you he probably knows where he's going. We'll talk more about that with Connor. Hemp Hill Services, that spring cleaning is always in order.
Yeah, look, make sure the HVAC unit is ready to keep up with this changing weather. Right now, $1,000 off new HVAC systems, plus 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the Next Round sent you. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of these issues. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, time to talk with our guy Connor O'Gara, and he is with us on the Shunnarah hotline, the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorney hotline. What is up, Connor? How are you?
Doing well. You know, I don't have a no contact tag on me right now.
That's good.
I'd love to try and figure out what that actually looks like. Like if Like, how enforceable is that? If someone contacts you when you have that tag that's on you when you're in the portal, do you get to then clap back at them? Like, do you get to like share that news? To
Well,
the
let
world?
me use.
I'm a little confused.
Let me use an analogy here, Connor. Do you think just because a woman has a wedding ring on her in a bar that she gets hit on?
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that's a no contact, is it not?
That was escalated, but yes, you're correct.
I'm just saying. So, like, I think this non-contact or no contact, I don't think it really matters.
He just went from NIL to IRL in real life.
Look, LT, I don't operate in that space, so I don't know. Couldn't tell you, but there's definitely something to be said for it. And who knows? Maybe teams are going to see that and actually go, oh, that makes Nico more attractive, and I actually would love to be able to pursue him in the portal.
I do think it's interesting, real quick, because I brought up the fact that I saw yesterday, and it's probably somebody just trying to fabricate it and get some conversation going. But Nico potentially to Alabama. I would love it just for all of the drama that would surround it. These guys think that Nico would be a downgrade from guys that have never started before at Alabama. I disagree with that. I think Nico is probably as good as Ty Simpson or better.
No, let me characterize what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily, Connor, saying he would be down. Now, are people saying Alabama, or you're just saying if he went to Alabama?
No, I saw Alabama as one of the potential destinations yesterday.
Now, again, to point out, if he goes in SEC, he's got to sit out a year. So he wouldn't even start this year anyway without some sort of legal
injunction
recourse.
is
some sort of legal recourse. All I'm saying is I've seen Nico, Connor. I think I would, as an Alabama fan, if I'm an Alabama fan, I'd be a little more interested in the unknown than the known.
I think I would too. Because the post-spring quarterback transfers don't have this great history of stepping into offenses and looking particularly good. Even Joe Burrow 2018, he was really limited with that offensive playbook in the first half of that season. And obviously we know what Joe Burrow ends up being, but there's something to be said for that. And it's going to be a difficult learning curve for Nico wherever he ends up. And if he were to make that weird decision to go to Alabama, try and force the NCAA's hand once again and try and say, oh, I should be eligible immediately, I don't know that Bama would necessarily sign up for that, when in theory, this is the quarterback room that Kalen DeBoer should want to have. And if you can't make it work with the guys that you have, then I'm starting to question you, because you have Ryan Grubb on board now, and I don't necessarily think that would make much sense at all. I do think that there could be a market for Austin Mack at Tennessee if that situation were to present itself. I think that's a really interesting potential redshirt option for him, because Austin Mack, in my opinion, is not going to be starting anywhere in 2025. And if he makes the decision to try and play the long game and go to a place like Tennessee, and they decide, hey, we're going to get like a grad transfer who's got 1 year of eligibility left, and we'll also get Austin Mack out of the portal, that's really intriguing to me, considering where he'd be next year, somebody that's still 18 years old, which is hard to fathom, even though Austin Mack is going to be entering year 3 of college. But yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces. I don't think one of those moving pieces would be Nico to Alabama.
Listen, things get lost in translation all the time. Several times on the show, Alabama and Nico's been brought up. There is nothing tying Alabama and Nico together. They were hypotheticals that were brought up. So,
well, there was the one report, but that was it. Yeah, we're just talking.
Oh, I said 1 in 1,000 earlier. I mean, it would never happen. I would love it just for the drama.
Yeah, right. And just to clear up if there's any lost in translation moment there. Listen, I was seeing that there are several teams interested in Nico if his asking price dropped to $1 million. Connor O'Gara, do you think Nico at his next landing spot, and he's got the do not contact, so he may already know where that is. He may have already known before all this happened. But do you think his next landing spot, his NIL take home, is greater than Knoxville, same as Knoxville, or less than Knoxville?
Less than Knoxville. No, there's no way that guy's getting a raise. No way. And be skeptical of the numbers that come out and where they're coming from too. You know, that's an interesting thing I've been thinking about, is he doesn't even have the official agency spin team that we see with a lot of these NFL contracts now, where you can kind of spin it as, oh, this contract is worth up to this much money. There's probably going to be some sort of incentive-based deal, and they'll look at the total sum of it as opposed to what he's making on an annual basis and what that is just for, you know, the standard 12 games. But I think he's going to make less. I think it's going to be much closer to that $1 million price range, because this is what his team so horribly misjudged. Teams already have their quarterback situations figured out. Teams figure this out at the end of the regular season because you have to know where you're spending your NIL money. And it's just like with the recruiting class. You want to get your quarterback figured out before you get all those other pieces figured out because you know that's going to be a big chunk of your budget. And so there aren't a bunch of these teams that are like, oh my God, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to just totally abandon this quarterback room that I've already invested time, money, resources into and go after Nico, who, let's be honest, guys, he's got some metrics that are not working in his favor. You realize, like, if you follow the PFF stuff with him, under pressure, big time throw, 27 SEC quarterbacks last year had at least one big time throw under pressure, and Nico Iamaleava wasn't one of them. His backup, Gaston Moore, had 2. Like, what are we talking about here? He's a fine player. He's not one of the top 5 best returning quarterbacks in the SEC. He's got a lot of areas to improve, and I think teams are recognizing it, and it's going to reflect with that final number.
CJ O'Gara is where you follow Connor on social media, at CJ O'Gara. Read him at Saturday Down South. His podcast, you've had a number of coaches on your podcast of late. I think Sam Pittman was the most recent one. Am I right about that? Who else you got out there right now?
Sam Pittman last week, and then Manny Diaz was the pod that came out yesterday. So trying to get a few of these coaches on and, you know, kind of pick their brain on all things spring football. What does it look like to manage, you know, the portal and all these different moving pieces? And, you know, it feels like a lot of them, you know, you guys might have a different experience. A lot of them pretty much want the same thing right now, but it is, you know, I was fascinated to hear Manny Diaz say something about how, look, they have, you know, this assumption that a bigger portal window is, you know, what we like ultimately going to lead to more chaos. And he said, you know, you could have the portal open for 9 minutes or 9 days, and you'd have the same exact amount of guys that want to enter it. I think he's kind of right. These guys know at this stage of the game if they're entering or if they're not. So yeah, it's just a fascinating time, I think, to be a college football coach.
Who's got more pressure this year, Brian Kelly or Hugh Freeze?
For his job, Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze is the hottest seat of anybody in college football. And maybe I'll get pushback from that.
More than Napier.
Will tell me. More than Napier.
Wow.
Yeah, more than Napier. Because now if Napier all of a sudden looks up, because he's got the Lagway piece. Lagway's still got another year of eligibility after this year. And that's what saved him his job this year. And in my opinion, as long as that's around and that's an asset working in his favor, that's going to be something that, look, Hugh Freeze doesn't have at this point. Hugh Freeze has a lot of pieces that suggest improvement could be in store, most notably with maybe the best group of receivers that Auburn has ever had. But I do think the pressure is on after, you know, just a totally disappointing season in which I think you could point to a lot of his mistakes in the fourth quarter as to why this team ultimately did not get to that 7-8 win mark. His decision to continue to ride with Peyton Thorne obviously hurt that team last year. I know he's a friend of the show, but it's hard to deny. And I do think that even more than Napier, because, you know, Billy Napier had an 8-win season when people were saying there's no way you're going to be able to get to that place, especially after that start. So I do think that Hugh Freeze is someone that enters year 3 with very much a hot seat, and it's such a prove-it year for him.
I'm interested. I know through my reporting why I think that is the case, that I agree with you. I'm interested to know, do you think it's because of who Auburn potentially could get, who could be waiting in the wings, that would add to the hot seat under Hugh Freeze?
Feels like you have a name in mind, Dunaway.
Yeah, do you want to say the name?
No, I wanted Connor to say the name.
You want to use initials?
No.
School or coach initials?
I'm just saying, is there a reason why his seat's hotter than maybe a normal third-year coach? I was just wondering.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. No,
I don't, and I think they structured the buyout really favorably. I know my guy Brad Crawford wrote about this for 24/7 Sports about how, you know, they changed the structure of it compared to the Harsin and Malzahn buyout, where now they have these monthly installments instead of having to pay half of the buyout within the first 30 days. And so maybe it's a little bit more team friendly than some would suggest. But if you're wondering, is this more of a hot seat because, I don't know, maybe a certain Lane Kiffin would be available? I don't think that's necessarily the case. I'll kind of wait and see on that. But I think it's just a hot seat for the simple fact that you don't get 4 or 5 years in this day and age. You know, you should be able to turn over a roster. You should be able to start, getting those positive results. I think what Deion Sanders has done at Colorado is great proof of that. What Curt Cignetti's done at my alma mater, Indiana, is great proof of that. And I do think, yes, it's tougher to do it against SEC competition. Totally understand. But you don't get 4 or 5 years and all of this grace, even if you are coming in, for a guy that was a historically awful hire.
Listen, I'm interested on Georgia in the SEC. This feels so different to me now. It seemed like we went into last year and there was so much pressure on Georgia, and Kirby with Nick Saban gone. How come I feel like there's more pressure now on Texas to be the top team in the SEC, and Georgia now, it's almost like there's been a valve that's been released from Kirby Smart. He doesn't seem to be under the same microscope as he was the last few years.
Yeah, I think winning a couple of titles certainly helps. And we automatically, in college football, we turn the page to the next coach who hasn't won one yet. Who's that going to be? And I think there's a very important window for Texas in 2025, to see how close they were to beating Ohio State this past season, and see what they have returning, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. To me, that's what suggests that this window is there. I think Arch is going to be a 2-year guy as a starter at Texas. I don't think he's going to the NFL in 2026 like every single way too early mock draft is going to project, just because I think the NFL is getting away from these guys who are 1-year starters in college, and they would typically like to see these guys start 2 years. Don't get it twisted. He would still obviously potentially be the number 1 overall pick, but I think the Mannings have played the long game with this, so I do think that's part of it, but it's because of all that defensive talent that Texas has coming back that suggests 2025 is a prime opportunity, especially with this schedule, which is once again looking really favorable as it was last year, and knowing that you don't get too many cracks at this. And it's going to be tough to get to that place in the 12-team playoff era, even if you're a team that's got depth like Texas. So I think their window just looks a little bit different. I think Georgia is still in line to be the team of the decade in the 2020s. And if they win that 3rd title, it'll be all but guaranteed. But I think Texas, people are just looking at that time frame with how good this roster should be coming back.
Connor O'Gara is with us Saturday Down South at CJ O'Gara on social media. He is on the Shunnarah hotline. I'm going to do a blind resume with you here. These are the 9th and 10th best passers in the SEC last year. Completion percentage, number 9 was slightly better. Yardage, number 10 was slightly better. Touchdown to interception was almost the same, but number 9 had fewer touchdowns and more interceptions. And number 9 we talk about as a preseason Heisman candidate, Lenora Sellers. And number 10, we're talking about Nico maybe not even being at a Power 5 school. Does Lenora Sellers just have better PR? Why is he the Heisman candidate? And his numbers are almost identical to Nico's, and Nico played in the playoffs.
You got to watch the 2 quarterbacks if that's the take. You got to watch.
Well, I watched them, but I'm just saying. But the numbers are the numbers, though.
Do you not have ESPN, Brown?
I've got ESPN, but they both played 12, 13 games, and the numbers are the numbers. Why? They were
First
both
of all,
freshmen.
Lenora Sellers wasn't fully healthy during the first half of the season.
Good point.
He left multiple games. Lenora Sellers had the single worst group of receivers in the SEC. He did not have a Josh Heupel offense with, by the way, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year to hand the ball off to. Rocket Sanders was a good player to be able to hand the ball off to. He was not Dylan Sampson. And you have to look at the degree of difficulty with the plays that Lenora Sellers was making. The amount of times that guy would break multiple tackles with free rushers coming right at him, keep his eyes downfield, and hit a guy in that intermediate 10 to 20 yard range. Countless. I mean, the Clemson game alone, if you just look at the raw numbers there, you're going to be like, all right, whatever. They didn't really have a good offensive day. Clemson couldn't tackle that guy. And it was that last play, that game-winning touchdown was a microcosm of that day. And so while he still has room to improve, in my opinion, I think the degree of difficulty of the plays that he was making and the types of big pickups that he would have in the offense to move the chains is entirely different than what Nico did last year. I do think that there is certainly more grace because Lenora Sellers came in with different expectations than Nico. I'll agree with you there. But to me, watch the 2 guys side by side. You will not have that take.
Brent Venables' interesting study. Nobody's talking about Oklahoma, but you bring in Ben Arbuckle, John Mateer, and now you get Jaden Ott out of the portal from Cal. The problem last year is they really didn't have any skill offensively. It looks a lot better, at least on paper. Do you think Oklahoma will be much improved this year?
It just can't be worse than last year on offense. It just can't be worse. The Oklahoma offense last year was what the Auburn offense was the previous year. Just anything that you can possibly think of that gives you pain was worth doing over watching that version of the Oklahoma offense. I mean, they lost their top 5 receivers by the end of September. They were down to their number 6 wideout making big time plays in that game at Auburn. And JJ Hester has the biggest play of that game, and he's like their 6th best receiver because they had nobody left, and their offensive line was entirely new. They have to be better. They will be better. It's ironic that Oklahoma copied the Vandy model. They did the same exact thing that Clark Lee did by going into the portal, getting Diego Pavia, getting Tim Beck, getting Eli Stowers as well, getting all these different pieces from New Mexico State to say, we need continuity. Oklahoma is begging for continuity. They are hoping that being able to bring in this Washington State offense is going to yield those results. I think John Mateer is the ultimate wild card in the SEC. I think his YOLO style can be really, really good. It can also be really, really bad. And I wonder with the defensive-minded coach, albeit one that's invested a lot into him, if he's going to give him that grace, because he sure as heck didn't give it to Jackson Arnold when he decided, I'm going to bench that guy before halftime of his first career SEC game. To me, I think that he needs to be able to adjust. That is Brent Venables. This offense should be better. I love the addition of Jaden Ott, but yeah, I mean, they're going to be better. It's just a question of how much.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the Oklahoma thing. I think that's a big story. So I'll end with this. Alabama, in your opinion, as we sit here in April, playoff team or not a playoff team?
Playoff team, and I'm not just saying that to make you happy. Playoff team. Playoff team because the Ryan Grubb edition. The Ryan Grubb edition is everything to me. I thought that offense last year looked disjointed. I thought that it was just Kalen DeBoer trying to figure things out on the fly, and that was a bit of a struggle with someone that obviously had a more entrenched style in Jalen Milroe. I do think that this year, while I have more questions about the quarterback room, I think it's a different set of questions than what we were asking 2 years ago. I do think that there is more promise there. There's more experience there. There's more talent there. And I think that with this coaching staff, you can trust them to maximize those abilities. I do think that defense will give them more grace. I still think that defense might be a little bit overhyped coming into the season, but I do find that the Ryan Grubb edition has changed my outlook of Alabama. Schedule is still going to be really difficult. It shouldn't be 11-1 expectations, but getting there with a 10-2 type record, potentially making it to the SEC championship, yes, that is my expectation now for Alabama now that Ryan Grubb's on board.
I believe O'Gara is Irish in its etymology. Was that a big win for you? Rory winning the Masters for the first time, one of the great Irish athletes of all time?
Shout out to Northern Ireland. Yeah. Look, there's definitely a large group of my family that roots almost exclusively for Rory, even though it's not like my family, got over here like 20 years ago or something like that. They don't necessarily share the same heritage that one Rory McIlroy does. But yes, very much somebody that I've liked rooting for. The name Rory kind of pops. I know it's like on the male side, it's either Rory the golfer. On the female side, it's Rory from Gilmore Girls. Don't ask me how I know that. But there are a lot of people that I think, can take joy in watching someone win like that and see the relief that they have. It's something that we see so rarely in sports, especially an individual sport like golf. But yeah, the O'Gara clan was rooting hard for Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. I understand.
Bladell, her name was Bladell. What's her? Alexa Bladell or something was the girl that played that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Alexis Bledel?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Oh, boy, you know
I don't know why I know
much.
that.
Yeah,
you know a ton.
Have you seen every episode?
You know a ton. You and my wife. Yeah. You and my wife. I was just going to say, with my family heritage, I'm always happy when we get a new casino open up in Alabama. It's really fun. Really fond of that.
Hey, look, nothing wrong with that. I can't say I have extensive family history with the casino world, but pale skin and coming over and doing great things in American sports. That's I guess that's what we in the O'Gara family do.
See, Connor didn't grow up in Alabama. Everybody that grew up in Alabama, which we all did, almost everybody claims they either got some Creek or Cherokee in them, right?
And it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I think 23andMe has debunked a lot of it.
LT always doubts that I've got Cherokee Indian in me.
Yeah.
But look how I
believe.
Look at my color this time of year.
I know.
It just screams.
You look about as white as a white man can get.
I don't know, man. Trust me. I'm sitting right there.
Connor's in the shot.
I mean, we're in a box with Casper here all of a sudden. Come on.
Don't take shots at Connor. All right, CJ O'Gara on social media is where you find Connor. Go to Saturday Night Down South. Watch his podcast. Coaches coming out all summer. Sam Pittman recently, Manny Diaz recently. Great conversations with him. Connor, thank you very much for the time. Always great talking with you.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
All right, buddy, take care. Connor with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And it is Wednesday, which means Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night. Me and Brown, Will Haver will get out there around 8 o'clock, get there a little early, enjoy some great food from Rodney Davis, and then trivia will ensue. A lot of fun. If you've never been before, come out, join us. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. That's at the original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Great place for food, live music on Fridays and Saturdays. But get in, see Will Haver and that great staff at Odie's Tavern.
Okay, before we do the spotlight, Auburn memes on Twitter. It's funny because, with the portal swinging around in basketball, their fan base is going against each other. Auburn memes last night. Auburn hasn't been to the Final Four in 10 days. Kentucky hasn't been to the Final Four in 10 years.
Is that true, though?
That is true.
Yeah. 10 years? That shocks me that it was 10 years. That's pretty funny.
I mean, that Auburn basketball Twitter can be brutal. Let's do a little football with the spotlight. Hit it, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
It is presented by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah. The Shunnarah Spotlight every single day as we take a look at college football. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, your first call, Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com. He is an Alabama guy, too. Alexander is a Birmingham guy, and he wants this community to have protection from the legal side for any issue they face. So the firm now handles not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a trial attorney, Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Okay, the folks at Spire Sports who handles Nico, there's a report out this morning that people close to Nico, the family members, are talking about their representation, Spire Sports. Nico's camp refuses to relinquish control, blaming Tennessee and the school's Spire Sports NIL collective for his situation. They're saying his representation hasn't steered him wrong, the family says. At the end of the day, what did we do wrong to steer him and put him in a bad situation? We didn't.
Somebody needs to be accountable and not Nico.
Yeah.
The way this story is being put on social media, though, is they're saying they did not ask for more money. I know you haven't had a chance to read the whole thing. Does that jump out in there?
That's what it's saying, that we did not ask for more money. But this brings up what you said yesterday, Brown. There'll be receipts if they decide to do this.
There probably would be, because I'm sure there are text exchanges, email exchanges. However, if you're Tennessee, what does that benefit you in getting into this? What does it benefit you if you're Tennessee from getting into here's what the players' parents are texting me. If I'm a player parent, I'll look at that and I'm like,
you know what I never saw when the UNLV situation went down? We never saw the receipts last year, did we? I don't remember that. I don't remember one side saying this is what was promised or one side saying this wasn't promised.
But here's the other side of it, Jim. But Nico's family wants me to believe that Josh Heupel just looked at Nico and is like, I don't think you could start here anymore once you hit the portal.
That's impossible to believe.
Does that make any sense to anyone?
No.
The guy just went. I mean, I don't think he's that great. I think he's an average quarterback, mid-tier SEC quarterback. But they went to the playoffs with him.
We never talk about this. My boys Dusty and Danny did this morning on Sirius XM, and I wasn't going to blame it up until this story dropped. I wasn't going to bring it up because, to be truthful, I thought it was an interesting conversation that I thought it was silly. But is there a potential? Because we say this all the time, just because you go into the portal doesn't mean you have to stay in the portal and go somewhere else. Is there a path to Nico back to Knoxville?
No. Boy, that seems shaky to me.
No, that is that is not a burned bridge. That is a blown up bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because we see people pull their name out of the portal and stay sometimes. It does seem like we're way too far down the road for this.
I would almost rather see that than him at an SEC school.
Well, back to Tennessee? Yeah, if that's the SEC school, it should be Tennessee.
Because, Tennessee fans, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I'm sure you have. They go from, man, Nico, much like Clay, top 5 potential to, man, he wasn't really good anyway. I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was a quick flip.
Yeah.
If Nico's family wants us to believe we were not asking for more money, then why are you in the portal? That's the explanation I need to hear. So why did you leave Tennessee if you weren't asking for more money?
And the timing. I don't think anybody really would question that if this would have been after the 25-point loss to Ohio State.
Okay.
Things happen.
Why didn't you show up for practice Friday?
Why didn't you show up for practice Friday? Okay, you're not asking for more money. Why are you not the quarterback at Tennessee today? Did Josh Heupel tell you to, hit the streets? Did somebody do something wrong to you? What is the story there? Because if you're not asking for more money, it doesn't make any sense that you're not the quarterback at Tennessee right now.
That's our spotlight brought to you by our friend Alexander Shunnarah. The show also being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles, Browning.
Yes, indeedy, Jim Dunaway. It's coming up lunchtime. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken at Bojangles is fried to crispy perfection. It's perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. It's a Bo Bite. The only hard part for you is going to be choosing from the 6 dipping sauces, one for every craving, the creamy house-made ranch, the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. Just what mood you're in is the sauce you're going to go with. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time.
Hey, by the way, friend of the show, Brandon Marcello, says Nico was right to ask for a raise. And here's his thinking.
This is an uncommon opinion. So.
Okay, but listen to this.
Right.
And technically it makes sense. In NFL circles, your starting quarterback usually gets about 20% of the salary cap.
That's right.
Okay. The new salary cap that's going to start in July, if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, is $14.3 million is what's going to be cut out of the 20.5 for college football. 15.3. What is 20% of 15.3?
20% of 15.3 is $3.6 million.
Yeah, roughly $3 million.
Yeah.
If he's making $2,
okay,
by NFL circles, your starting quarterback is worth $3.
Here would be my counter to Brandon on that. The only way an NFL quarterback gets a raise like that is if they're in free agency.
Right.
If Nico was an NFL quarterback 1 to 32, where do you think he would fall? Understand what I'm asking. Not if he were an NFL quarterback, but if you just said in the NFL, the quarterback of Nico's capability, like I think he's a mid-tier SEC quarterback, which puts him 8th or 9th in the SEC. Last year. Where would he be in the NFL if he's 8th or 9th in the SEC? 15 or 16, right?
Right.
Would you give me that?
No, that's what I'm saying. He's mid-tier NFL quarterback.
He's mid-tier NFL quarterback, so he's 15 or 16. What kind of deal would he get in free agency?
Okay,
as 15 or 16.
But does Dak Prescott not get 20% of the cap for the Cowboys?
He does, but if Dak ever hit free agency, would he be the highest paid quarterback in the league?
He wouldn't, but he would still probably be a top 5 guy. Yeah.
And you would say Dak is 15 or 16 in the NFL?
Dak can play in the top 10.
And I guess at times Nico has. But give me who is 15 or 16 in your mind in the NFL. Give me quarterback number 15 in the NFL.
I mean, right now, like Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he's so young in his career. It's hard to make that judgment on
he's
him.
got the rookie contract, which you don't have here.
15 or 16, maybe Trevor Lawrence. But he's paid like a top 5 guy.
Okay, so there goes my argument. You're right. Trevor Lawrence is mid-tier, but
I mean that's right?
Well, that's the thing in the NFL is when you find a top half quarterback, you marry the guy. I mean that's your only option.
I mean Derek Carr mid-tier, but he gets paid.
Yeah.
I mean,
quarterback's always going to be overpaid.
That if it's 15.3 by NFL standards, your starting quarterback should be getting right around $3 million a year. And by the way, there will be parents and agents who will cut that Brandon Marcello article out of a newspaper that doesn't exist anymore. and show
paste it on a board.
Paste it on a cardboard board and show it to people saying, hey, by NFL standards, the quarterback gets 20%.
Yeah. And that's going to be good for guys like Nico. That's going to be bad for guys that end up being a Cam Ward.
Well, but he'll probably end up at somewhere where he's getting far more than 20% of their NIL budget, but it's going to be a far worse situation.
Yeah.
Unless it's USC. And I
go back to what Clay pointed out. Like the ultimate goal is becoming a starting quarterback in the NFL, and if that happens, this is all going to take care of itself, and you're basically squabbling over fractions of what you're going to earn.
Could end up being pocket change for you.
Gut feeling, where does he end up right now?
Nico?
Yeah.
I don't know. He is. I mean, back to use Josh Pate's adjective, he's radioactive right now.
So you don't think USC? Is he an upgrade from your starter? The other Ava? Mieva.
Yeah, he's an upgrade.
Okay.
But how much of an upgrade is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, that's what you got to figure out if you're one of these head coaches. Like, it would look so desperate for Lincoln Riley, who's in kind of a desperate situation, right?
He is. He needs to win.
Yeah, UCLA was the betting favorite 2 days ago. I don't know where it stands right now.
And I think Deshaun Foster, I mean, look, he's been given no help, and he actually overachieved, in my opinion, last year.
He's not a hot seat guy at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody where you could actually take on Nico, and it's just not going to be that big of a deal.
But do they have that money?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, I think they strike me as a poverty program, UCLA.
Yeah.
I mean, all their coaches, well, not all their coaches, because Foster hasn't really done this, but all I see from Mick Cronin is bitching about having to fly to the East Coast all the time.
I do have a feeling this Nico thing is going to be landmark, and I don't know if we're going to have the Nico rule or things that come out of this, but I think this is going to be fascinating to see how this thing plays out.
Where's Washington's quarterback situation?
Oh, so Will Rogers is obviously gone. I'll tell you real quick.
That seems like a place.
I mean, there's a chance he's a group of 5 quarterback, right? There's a chance.
For Nico?
Yeah. You don't think that's a chance?
No.
Okay, well, give me the Power 5s where he would be. I mean, we've just named UCLA, USC, and Washington. Where else? And Washington is just, we're saying, what if? You don't think there's – you are 100% expecting him to be starting Power 5 next year?
Yes. Somewhere. I mean, there's not that many good quarterbacks. And he's one of them, in my opinion.
One that's not good?
Yeah. All right. While LT looks at the Washington.
Oh, yeah. I watched him in the bowl game, and he was pretty good. And he had a chance to cover for us. Missed the back of the end zone. That Damon Williams kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's look, they're
good.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine. New York Butcher Shop's always fantastic. Tell us about New York Butcher as we make our way to
great
break.
place to pick up one of those fantastic, huge sandwiches for lunch or dinner. Go to the sandwich station. You can build your own. You can get their custom sandwiches. Also, you can pick up great steaks on your way home. The incredible sides made in-house, from the baked beans to the goat cheese mashed potatoes, the mac and cheese, fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Cahaba Heights. Get in, see Jim and the fine folks. Tell them the next round sent you. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
There's no off-season at CoverCrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at CoverCrimson.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We're about to do another one of those blind drafts. This time we're going to help our buddy Joel Klatt out.
The Klatt Monkey.
Coming up very soon in the next few days, Klatt's going to be sitting down with the Fox officials, and they're going to be drafting the games to be on the big noon kickoff and all that on Fox. And I've got 6 Big Ten games that I think are the top 6 games. Stuart Mandel actually thinks they're the top 6 games. And I'm going to have you guys rank them 1 to 6, with 1 being the one you'd most want. That's coming up in the second after LT tells us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. I made the call back in 2003. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, 2015 vision. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. True pioneer. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, I'm going to do it a little different. You've got 1 to 6 there. I'm going to allow you to pass or... I'm going to allow you to pass on one of these if you do not want to put them in your top 6. So I got 10 games.
10 games, all right.
So you can say pass if you want to.
Or place them. Okay,
right.
So obviously the ones we pass on, we don't believe
we don't
deserve
even have
to be in the top.
That's right.
NBC gets that.
So there's 10 games. There's 1 pass. Do you want... I'll give you one early on that you've got to make a decision, pass or not, okay?
Okay.
Michigan on the road at Nebraska week 4.
Going to pass.
Michigan on the road at Nebraska week 4. Now, this is for Fox. They get the first 3 choices, by the way, but we're trying to rank the 6 best games so they can draft.
I'm going to pass. I mean, both those teams unranked to end the season, and I don't know if they're going to be ranked by the end of September, so I'm going to pass.
Michigan will be ranked by the end of September. Okay.
Yeah. I'm rolling the dice. I've got better games coming up.
Okay. Well, let's get to those.
All right.
Week 1, Texas at Ohio State. Where do you put that?
Oh, jeez. Man, I'm going to put it at 2.
I got it at 2.
Yeah.
Right behind Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, I just don't want to jump on the other right now.
Yeah.
So you went on and penciled in your Ohio
Oh, we got
State.
Ohio State, Michigan. I'm operating this the way Fox does. They're just going to start with them
Well,
at number
week
one.
4, week 14, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Is that who you go number 1, 2, LT?
I'm not saying it's going to be the best game, but I'm saying this is the way they do it.
I mean, based on how big the rivalry is,
You got to show it.
and either Michigan's going to be good or they're not going to be good, and either way, it's going to be trouble for Ryan Day and Ohio State because he can't beat them. So yes, where is that game this year?
It is in Ann Arbor,
in Ann
the
Arbor.
big house.
Yep. So I got Texas at Ohio State second though.
Yeah,
So
we're both right there.
much like Fox. I've gone 1 and 2 Ohio State.
Oregon in Happy Valley, week 5, Penn State. Oregon and Penn State.
A rematch of the Big Ten championship game. I am going to put it at 4.
Do Oregon and Ohio State play this year?
Brown,
in the regular season.
You'll have to wait and find out.
Well, I would know this if I'm Fox.
I'm still going to go 4 though.
They do not play.
They don't play?
It's a big game. I will almost guarantee you it's a top 10 matchup. If it was to start the season, it definitely would be. But I think both will hang around, and that will be a top 10 matchup. So I got it at number 4.
I went ahead and put it at 3rd. So I'm just going in order right now, much like I did yesterday with you.
I wanted to put it at 3, but I think there might be something bigger out there.
What do you? I want to ask you. Texas, Ohio State 2nd, Oregon, Penn State 3rd. I think those are excellent games, and I know Oregon and Penn State have played in a Rose Bowl. I don't remember them playing a home and home, so I don't get this one very often.
I'll go ahead and help LT connect the dots. Week 10, Penn State in the Horseshoe against Ohio State. Is that the number 3 slot you were leaving open?
Yeah, I think it is.
Penn State's supposed to be uber good. Ohio State's always good. Penn State, Ohio State.
I went 4th there.
Okay.
Well, I like whiteout. I think I'm going to get, it's a day game, though. I'm Fox Big Noon Kick, so I don't know if I'm going to get the whiteout there at Penn State.
By the way, Ohio State fans.
It's at Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, I was talking about Oregon, Penn State.
Okay,
So, that's why I put them 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah. I would tell you that the fine folks at Ohio State hate the Big Noon kickoff.
Which is weird to me because they used to, mandate that Ohio State, Michigan
they still do.
would have to be at 11. So why do they hate 11 o'clock games if it's week 4?
I think I think it's probably their fans voicing this, and they're just
like
I think the fans watch SEC football and they're saying to themselves, "Man, they're having so much fun at night. Why don't we have night prime games?"
Or even 2:30, 3:30 Eastern time games. 11 o'clock sucks for a fan.
But we learned in the course of all of this, we learned that Big Ten schools had a gentleman's agreement not to play November night games because the weather was so bad. Like, they make fun of us at weather. They didn't want to play bad weather games and November night games. So, what do they want?
Yeah, you're right. As a fan, I would rather 11 o'clock than have to go, 10 below wind chill, 7 o'clock kick.
I don't know. It seems like Big Ten fans are hard to please on their kick times, Jim. And SEC fans are hard to please, too.
Week 14, Oregon, Washington in Seattle.
I'm going to pass.
Camera.
Yeah, I think I would pass on that one, too. I was going to put it 6, but I forgot we had passes. Shaky
Okay.
camera game I'm going to pass on.
All right. Week 7, Ohio State in Champaign against Illinois.
Pass.
This is what week
Illinois
is
this year's Indiana.
I know.
It's week 7.
Ooh, that was my 3rd pass, wasn't it? So I got to take the rest of them. We got 4 passes.
4 passes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pass.
Oh, I'm actually going to put that. I think Indiana. I don't know if they're undefeated, but they might be. Or Illinois might be undefeated at that point.
Who do they have before that?
They've got Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, Indiana, USC, and Purdue. I think they could be 6-0.
Yeah, that sounds like 6-0 to me.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to put that at number 5. I'm going to do it number 6. So Illinois hosting Ohio State, number 6.
Can I go back real quick? Because this is a smart comment in the chat room. Michigan Manifesto in the chat room. Big Michigan fan, I'm going to assume. Says one thing about the 11 a.m. kickoffs, it's almost impossible to get recruits to play a Friday night game and then be there the next morning for the game. That is a legitimate concern.
Try doing it in an SEC town, though. At least in your Big Ten towns, you're usually closer to a big metropolitan airport.
Yeah, that's when you just got to plan to have the nearby recruits.
Try
be at the 11 o'clock.
getting them to Starkville.
Yeah.
It's
a good point, though.
Okay, so have I given you
I've got one more slot, one more pass for me. So there's 2 more games, right?
With 10 total. So I don't know how many we've done.
I've got
yet.
2 slots.
Indiana, Penn State, Cinderella last year.
That's my last pass.
I'm passing.
Yeah. So I got to take these next 2. I think you've got one more pass.
I do, yeah.
I've already done Ohio State at Washington. I just did that one right. Okay.
No, you did. Did he do Ohio State at Washington?
No,
Oregon at
okay.
Washington.
Ohio State at Washington. Shaky
That's an
camera
11
game,
a.m. kick.
Week 5.
I got to take it.
That's my last pass.
I got to take it. I don't like this, but at least it's a shaky camera game. But it's going to be a 9 a.m. Pacific game for me if I'm Fox.
Yep. That leaves us with one game,
I
right?
put that at 6, so I got to go 5 here.
Michigan at USC.
Oh, I'm happy with that.
I'll take it at 5.
Yeah, that's a good 5 game for me.
Yeah.
Now, this wouldn't work because they won't play these West Coast games at noon, but boy, if Fox had all 6 of these, they would be thrilled to death.
CBS and
I've got
NBC
4
get some
Ohio
picks.
State. How many Ohio State do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's pretty much the Big Ten TV package.
I
You're
got
gonna
2
have a lot of Ohio
Michigan,
State.
2 Penn State, and Illinois.
Yeah.
Only 1 Oregon. Oregon wins the national championship. I have failed the network.
You've heard Fox.
Yeah, I really have.
Yeah. Stewart says, like the guys, that he projects that Fox gets the first 3 picks and that they will choose Michigan and Ohio State, Michigan first, Texas, Ohio State second, and Penn State, Ohio State third. And then he says, I do not know the rest of the draft order, but he ranks them Oregon, Penn State fourth, Michigan, USC fifth, Ohio State, Illinois sixth.
All I would say is if I'm Fox, you said they would go Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State, and Penn State, Ohio State, 1, 2, 3. If I'm Fox, this might be my only shot at showing Oregon, especially in a good game, Oregon at Penn State. And Oregon is going to be
They're definitely a preseason top 5 team.
Yeah.
But
so I think I would take Oregon, Penn State over another Ohio State game.
There will be people that will tell you that Penn State is the team to beat in the Big Ten this year.
Which is why, like, I can.
And then I would tell them I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm with you. I can either show Ohio State 3 times, or I can at least get Oregon in there. I get Penn State either way. Here's the other thing.
I would tell you Ohio State prints TV money.
It does, but Oregon
TV
Penn State
ratings.
would be a huge TV number, don't you think?
Bigger than Penn State, Ohio State?
The same. I mean, depending now, a lot of this depends
Now,
on
one
how
is
good
week
the game
5
is.
and one is week 10.
But a lot of it also depends on how good the game is. You know that, and what's going up against it. If ESPN has a good SEC game at 11, that's going to hurt a little bit.
Here's a if you don't choose Oregon at Penn State, if you're Fox Big Noon Kickoff, and Clad has told us this goes into the consideration, then the other big game that week is Ohio State and Washington, and that would be tough for them to do the Big Noon Kickoff.
Yep, at Washington.
So that's where they get stuck with a game they don't want at that point.
Do you have the rest of the Big Ten schedule that week?
I don't.
What week is that? I'll pull it up.
Week 5.
As you're pulling that out, I'm fascinated by Illinois now. If Illinois was to go to a college football playoff, much like Kirk Cignetti did in year 1, do you think Bielema's out of there?
To a bigger job, better job? I don't think so.
I don't know, man. Illinois just seems like
he's
an awful football job.
He seems like he's the kind of guy, LT, that has shown us that his style works in the Big Ten.
Oh, you know what could be?
Not anywhere else.
He could go to Iowa.
Okay.
Because he played at Iowa.
That's his
I
goal.
could see the timing work out, too.
Yeah, that's a great
Is
great
that
call.
an obviously better job, though?
I think so.
Obviously better than Illinois?
I think so.
Traditionally better, for sure.
Fan base, just historically better. Yeah, I think so.
We should get some of those TV windows, by the way, coming up in a couple of weeks.
So if the Big Noon Kick could not do Ohio State, Washington because of West Coast time, and they passed on Oregon, Penn State with that 3rd pick, they're left with one of these games for that Saturday. Okay,
And they had some clunkers last year.
Well, you tell me if any of these are clunkers. Rutgers at Minnesota.
Yep.
Southern Cal at Illinois, not an awful game.
No, and that's the one that I kind of looked at. Like at Indiana would be tricky, at Duke maybe, but USC could kind of throw that undefeated Illinois, undefeated Ohio State.
By the way,
mind,
that's Chicago market, LA market.
That's right. And for Fox, their only opportunities to show Southern Cal are when they come east to play.
Yep.
UCLA at Northwestern, no thank you. Indiana at Iowa, no thank you.
Yeah.
So it would be Southern Cal at Illinois.
Yeah. And
that's not an awful game. No.
Probably end up with that.
Yeah.
Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing bringing you the show today. Our man Greg from Pell City bringing you peace of mind when it comes to your roof. Or Ruth, if you have a Ruth in your life. Greg can make sure that she's doing well, too. He'll do a welfare check on Ruth. To your roof. ROOF. You don't need any water. Greg will go up there.
It's on fire. Huh?
Greg will climb that ladder, get up there and check out that roof to make sure you haven't had any recent storm damage, loose shingles, anything like that from windstorms. Free, no cost, no obligation roof inspection. If you do have something wrong up there, he works with you, comes up with roof replacements, storm repair damage, roofing repairs. He does it all. He has a building license too, so he can actually do some storm damage repairs for you. He does it all, and he's unbelievable. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Storm Restoration Roofing, A-plus rated, 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City there on Facebook. Go check him out. Works with insurance providers really well. That helps you so much to get maximum coverage, and also he can walk you through the process. That's Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. And also our show being brought to you by our friends at Lake Fest, Brownie. We're getting ready to party on the lake.
Yeah, it's the 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest presented by our friends at Am First, and it is Birmingham and Alabama's biggest in-water boat show. And you can see all the boats there at Lake Fest. 80 boats, in fact. Vehicles on display. Lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, live music all weekend, tons of giveaways. Friday night, they will have a huge fireworks show honoring our great United States veterans. Mermaids and Mateys Parade on Saturday. Mimosas for Mom on Sunday. LoganMartinLakeFest.com for all the info. LoganMartinLakeFest.com. And for the first time in the history of Lake Fest, AmFirst is offering a half percent off your interest rates. That could save you as much as $100 a month and up to $12,000 over the life of the loan. LoganMartinLakeFest.com. That is LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
All right, as we get our bearings straight on the NFL draft, 1 week from tomorrow night, Patrick Peterson announced his retirement over the weekend. 5th overall pick in 2011, a great LSU DB. That's why
lived up to the hype.
He did, but most of his time was with who? The Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yep.
All due respect to Cardinal fans out there, including one of our dear friends.
Yeah, Chop. They had some good years. They made it to the postseason a couple of times, but
when you play with the Cardinals, you sort of play off the main stage. To me, that's off Broadway.
Yeah.
Is that not?
It is.
Why?
It goes from LSU when LSU was really in their prime to, I don't know. They've just never been a historically consistent organization.
I'll tell you why. Is because playing in the NFC West, they're going to be in that late window a lot when they're playing home games, and that's your national game. And when are the Cardinals going to be your national game?
Rarely
are the Cardinals going to be your national game because they haven't been good enough.
Yeah, so they're the few people around the country are seeing it because they're watching the Rams and 49ers.
Yep, they're getting a late window game on Fox or CBS, and the Cardinals are playing the milk game, and not a lot of people see the milk game.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you look at the entirety of the NFC, I mean, maybe only the Panthers,
Jaguars.
No, I'm just talking about the NFC.
Oh, NFC.
Are you talking about teams you see on TV less than the Cardinals?
Yeah.
The Panthers? We used to get the Panthers a lot here in Birmingham because of Cam Newton, but boy, now that he's gone.
We still get them too much.
We get them too much because of Bryce Young.
Yeah, I have to watch them too much because Tampa Bay plays them twice a year.
Yeah, I think that they probably, outside of Carolina, are the least appealing organization in the NFC.
Yeah. So when you see a great, exciting player drafted a week from tomorrow night, keep in mind there are certain destinations he can go to and be a Hall of Famer, really, Patrick Peterson could be.
Well, Larry Johnson's one of the greatest receivers ever to play the game. Or, excuse me, Larry Fitzgerald. Calvin Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald had a kid, and they named it Larry Johnson. That'd be a heck of a receiver, by the way. Larry Fitzgerald,
pretty good basketball player.
One of the greatest receivers we've ever seen, and I feel like I didn't watch enough of him. And he was on good Cardinal teams.
That's right.
He was on Cardinal teams, played for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and had a Super Bowl moment where he goes over the middle, I think for like 60 yards. They take the lead late, and then Santonio Holmes had the incredible toe tap to win it for the Steelers. But Arizona is one of those teams that just doesn't get a lot of prime time.
Yeah, you got to get Sunday ticket to watch them.
Yeah, one of the greats that played in that 2011 national championship game, Patrick Peterson. No, he didn't. He was in the 2011 draft, so he was not part of the 2011 season.
No.
Yeah,
he was there. He was in 2010.
Yeah,
Honey Badger was their big
Badger,
DB that year, yeah.
Part of the great DB history down at LSU.
By the way, a former Cardinal too, Honey Badger.
Yeah, but at least he's moved around a little bit. Golden State a winner last night, 121-116 over Memphis, so they're in as the 7 seed. They move forward now, and Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, 38 and 37. Since they've got Jimmy Butler, that team's look different.
Well,
not really a fair fight for Houston as a 2 seed, getting that team as a 7.
Yeah, I mean, Houston hates to see this. Houston is the slight favorite, Golden State is the slight favorite in this series. But I think it has ticked up to minus 200 now. So not a lot of times you see the lower seed as a 2-1 favorite. But no surprise once you add Jimmy Butler to Steph Curry. And, just a few weeks ago, Steph Curry probably thought the window had closed. And now Golden State's got an opportunity to make some noise.
Yeah, and interesting that Jimmy Butler, in his postgame interview, said he referred to Steph Curry as Batman. And I saw one of the NBA writers say, there's no Batman Robin here. Golden State now has 2 Batmans. And they can be really good.
Still, Jimmy Butler probably deserves to be a Batman, but he is more Robin.
Orlando beat Atlanta last night.
To Steph Curry, he is.
What a shot at Jimmy Butler.
He owned it. He's the one that said it. I heard the comments.
Yeah, he did. Orlando beat Atlanta last night. So it's elimination the next 2 nights in the NBA. Heat in, is it Bulls?
Bulls, yep.
Really? The Bulls are in the playoff mix. Heat and Bulls, 6:30 ESPN. The winner gets Atlanta. Loser goes home. And then that'll be a loser-go-home game tomorrow night. And then the Mavericks and the Kings are in the playoff mix?
Well, don't you remember?
I can trade Luka and and then the Kings, who are horrible?
Well, yeah, you traded Luka, and you're playing in the play-in round, by the way. I bet if you kept Luka, you're probably one of those teams that's already got a spot Saturday.
9 o'clock tonight, ESPN. Winner gets Memphis on Friday.
We have both winners up at Lance'sLock.com. Would have been 4-0 last night if it wasn't for Golden State blowing that 20-point lead. End up winning the game by 5, laying 6.5. So lost by a bucket there, but both winners up tonight.
And that's brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. A quick look at the NBA.
Indeed, and you can go get a look at the Talladega Superspeedway as NASCAR returns for the Jack Links 500 weekend, April 25th through 27th. If you have lived here any amount of time, I know I say this a lot. And it's, by the way, it's not even what Talladega is asking me to say. I'm just an Alabama lifer, so I know this. If you've lived here for any amount of time and have never witnessed a race at Talladega, you are missing out, whether you're a NASCAR fan or not. It is incredible. Just white-knuckle action for 500 miles of racing in the Jack Links 500 weekend. Get a spot for yourself. Reserve that spot right now. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That is TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend coming to the Talladega Superspeedway April 25th through 27th. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll talk about one coach in college football that thinks the postseason should be changed a little bit in just a second. New hour of the show here. By the way, Wisconsin lost their starting left tackle to an ACL injury. Kevin Haywood was going to be the starter for the Badgers. Remember, they come to Tuscaloosa on the return game. He's done for the season. Left tackle ACL blow. And Jimmy Brumbaugh, remember that name? Former Auburn player, defensive lineman, has been a coach before at Auburn and Tennessee. Georgia's hiring him to jump on the coaching staff there with Kirby Smart. Don't know what his role will be in Athens yet, but he's going to join that coaching staff. This hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew. They will help you enjoy a spectacular lunch with fried chicken that is cooked to order. It's brined overnight, cooked to order, piping hot when it comes out. Hand-cut chicken fingers, they are absolutely huge. If you want to get a little bonus food, get your wife, your girlfriend, your workmate, whatever, to order the chicken finger basket. And if they're a female, I guarantee they won't finish all 4 of them. Huge chicken fingers. And you get a little bonus chicken finger there. Po' boys, all the wonderful sides. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, great cocktails, great atmosphere, all right there for over a decade. Same location, 119 in Alabaster. It is Sterling and the fine folks at champyschicken.com.
You think that golfer could have finished all 4 that we saw yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, here we go. So there is one coach that says a loss last year wakes him up every night right now. He wakes up every night thinking about that loss last year.
Are we going football?
College football. Who is that
Kenny
coach?
Dillingham in the playoffs against Texas.
He's the head coach. Kenny Dillingham, playoff against Texas.
They had a 13-point lead.
Boy, they did. They let that one get away.
It's a great answer. It is incorrect. Brown, would you like to try one?
Of course, Kenny Dillingham probably thinks, I was going to get drilled by Ohio State the next week, but
Yeah,
at least I'm in the game.
I'll go ahead and cut to the silence.
Kalen DeBoer. By the way, on the show Friday, we should point out at 9:30, you can catch Coach DeBoer with us Friday at 9:30.
Kalen DeBoer with us at 9:30.
Oklahoma game for Kalen DeBoer. That would have
kept him out of the playoffs.
That's a nightmare. Kept him out of the playoffs.
Nope. You were very close on Kenny Dillingham. It was Dan Lanning who lost in the Rose Bowl. Remember,
Don't say that one keeps them up against Ohio State. They got their asses
Well,
whipped. They got curb stomped.
Yeah, they're number one in the country. They're the top seed. 34-0 at one point before halftime in that one. Dan Lanning tells Bussin' with the Boys that I wake up at least once a night thinking about that loss. Once a night.
Yeah, I think it was such a massacre. To me, the tight losses are the ones that would keep you up at night. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was that ill prepared. Maybe it was 100% on him. A little more context, does he say that? Like, I did such a piss poor job of preparing my team is one of the reasons we got run off the field.
He goes on to say, I don't make excuses, but we were not ready for that game. Ohio State was playing really good football, and he talked about the calendar. He goes, I've got to do a better job of keeping my guys sharp because, remember, they had the layoff from the Big Ten championship game all the way to January 1st. Meanwhile, Ohio State got to smoke Nico in Tennessee. In Columbus, they beat Tennessee, then beat the wheels off of Oregon on their way to the national championship. Lanning goes on to say, he's like, listen, I don't know why in college football we decide we have to do things differently than proven models. He's like, nowhere else. We're new to the playoff game. They've been doing playoffs in other sports for years and years and years. What other sport do they take a month off from the regular season to when I'm supposed to play a playoff game?
Now, I'm not going to say that's the reason they lost, and I don't think Dan Lanning would say that's the reason.
Yeah, and how far was the layoff from Big Ten championship game to their bye?
Big Ten championship was
almost 1 month.
Was it the 6th of December?
I don't think it was that long. I thought it was just a couple of weeks. I thought
No, they played January 1st.
They played January 1st.
Yeah.
Last year, I'll tell you, championship weekend last year was December.
I think it was 7th, actually.
7th. Yep, I said the 6th. It was the 7th.
3 full weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's a legit point.
No, he's not wrong about that. So you basically went 3.5 weeks. I mean, the 14th, 21st, 28th, and then you played. It was a Wednesday. January 1 was a Wednesday.
It's perfect for the people that had to play in the first round. You get a little break, play that first round game, get a little break, play that next round game, get a little break, semifinal.
Yeah, so I guess the question to Dan Lanning, do you want the bye or not?
Yeah, what's he want?
I think his point is
it would be better if nobody got buys. He would be right.
Well, and I think we'll get to that point.
I agree completely.
I think that's where he wants to go, where, okay, I get to play a game, but I'm a 1 seed and I'm playing the 16.
Yeah. But I would tell you the reason, one of the reasons, let me just say one of the reasons, not maybe the only reason, but one of the reasons there was that long of a layoff is because his conference is part of this group that thinks this Rose Bowl thing is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So we're going to build everything around the bowl games. And, I mean, that's one of the reasons that game happened when it happened. I don't know if the playoff game, I don't know if the playoff schedule would look the same if we just said, if the bowl games fit in, we'll use them, but we're not going to reroute our entire playoffs just to include certain bowl games.
You and I are different on this. I loved January 1st this year. I loved having those 3 playoff games.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 lined up like that.
Right. And you'll probably still continue January 1st.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a big college football day that as long as it's not a Sunday, you know, you'll still continue to do January 1st.
You think we've ever had another sport where the 4 teams that have buys all lose? I mean, that's what we had.
Until right now, I just forgot that.
Oh, it did not benefit you at all, no.
Yeah.
The other coach that lost a lot of sleep, I would say Lane Kiffin against Kentucky.
Yeah. I would imagine coaches.
Yeah. Yes.
I would imagine Lane, first of all,
but I understand that
one for other reasons.
Yeah. But I would understand that one a lot more than Dan Lanning get completely run off the field 41-21.
But he is not wrong. It's dumb to – in theory, Oregon accomplished more than anyone in the regular season. They were the Big Ten champions. They were the overall number 1, right?
Beat Ohio State head-to-head.
Yeah, they were Auburn going into the NCAA basketball tournament where you're like, we look at the whole year, that's your overall number 1. Oregon was your overall number 1 when you looked at the whole year. And your reward for that is – go sit for 3.5 weeks and then play a football game.
Then be sharp.
And he's not wrong about that.
Against probably the team that everyone thought was the best team in college football anyway.
Ultimately, they were.
Yeah. And ultimately they were. All right, busting with the boys. If you want to see the whole conversation there with Dan Lanning. All right, we'll get to 4 downs here in a second. I'll remind you before Brownie tells us about Bojangles that New Life Art is there to wake up the echoes of some great college football moments, painted by Daniel A. Moore, the artist who has been capturing great Crimson Tide moments over the year, including this celebration of head coach Nick Saban. 6 national championships with that crystal ball and that college football playoff trophy well represented in the paintings there. Nick Saban, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. That's the legend. That's the painting there from Daniel A. Moore. And you can get it, promo code TNR, DanielMooreArt.com, and all those other great works, including, is that Kenyon Drake that dove in the Clemson game?
The touchdown return?
The pylon, return.
Yeah, so that's one of the great paintings there from Daniel A. Moore, DanielMooreArt.com, and Bojangles, which brings us 4 downs.
Yeah, you don't have to choose at breakfast anymore between sweet and savory. You get them both at Bojangles for a limited time right now. The Bojangles new chicken and bowberry waffles, signature Cajun chicken filet, drizzle with a bowberry glaze, sandwiched between warm waffles, and available for a limited time. It's Bow time.
First down.
Anya Taylor-Joy, one of Jeeves' favorites, 29 years old. She dates a local dude, by the way.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know. Some Mountain Brook kid. Ultimately, though, Taylor-Joy or Almond Joy. Better career.
I don't even know what Taylor-Joy is in.
I need to see a picture of her. Give me a picture.
She's got the eyes that kind of protrude. She's a really good actress. She was just in The Gorge. She was in The Queen's Gambit. She was in Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay, all right.
I don't know that I've watched her in a movie.
She was in The Menu. She's an A-list actress.
I don't know that I've watched her in a movie. I did not need this Google image search from Jeeves. Almond Joy might objectively be the worst candy bar in the history of candy bars.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. They're awful.
The Zero Bar is probably worse, but it's close.
I'd take a Zero Bar.
If we sat down and if you gave me 10 top-tier actresses right now, if she's one of them, however far you got to go down to get to her.
She's probably, 10 to 20. She's an A-lister.
Okay, say 20. You give me the top 20.
She would be in the top 20.
Actresses. And you say pair them up with a candy bar that best represents their look. She would be the Almond Joy to me.
Yeah,
she looks like an Almond Joy to me.
Yeah, or the Zero Bar.
Yeah, this is a good comparison.
So this is a toss up for me. I'm going to pass.
She's got one of those. She's got one. Nobody's ever passed on a 4 downs before, but you're going to do it.
I'm just saying she's a little bit chocolate, she's a little bit coconut, and probably a little bit nutty.
But her talent,
she is Almond Joy.
As far as on screen, is much better than the Almond Joy. Jeeves, you'll never remember this. They had a commercial that Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Do you guys remember that commercial?
I do remember that commercial.
Okay.
I've never liked
and
either
both
one
were
of them.
terrible.
Can I just go ahead and say our girl from Utopia would be Mounds? If we're doing candy bars.
You mean Euphoria?
Euphoria, yes. I'm sorry.
That's Sydney Sweeney.
We all get there in different ways.
Yeah. Oh, Sydney Sweeney's a Snickers.
I want to see. I'll tell you this,
I'm
though.
going to stick with my Mounds.
Jennifer and I are just watching White Lotus right now, and season 1 White Lotus, they were like, all right, we want Sydney Sweeney. We just don't want you to be too hot.
Yeah.
Tone it down just a little bit.
They dialed her. She did not look good.
I didn't even know it was her until he said it the other day.
I'm 100% with you. I was like, I think that's Sydney Sweeney, but that doesn't. Is this a? You know who I thought it was? I thought it was whoever Sydney Sweeney's version of Plemons is. Jesse Plemons.
Oh, okay.
He's almost Matt Damon, but he's not quite there. It was Matt Damon and your computer shut down when you were generating him and it spit out Jesse Plemons.
Oh,
and you're like,
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, we almost had Matt Damon, but our computer locked up and we got Jesse Plemons. That's who I thought this girl was in White Lotus.
Hey, we've got a poor man's Nicole Kidman, too. She's in one of the new episodes of Black Mirror.
Oh, is she poor man's Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, because I Googled, I was like, she's got to be related somehow.
Yeah.
And she plays Nicole Kidman in the younger version of Nicole Kidman in a Hulu show. Forgot what it was. Some British actress.
And by the way, Sydney Sweeney in that first season of White Lotus is unbearable to be around. She's awful.
Can you imagine if that was your kid?
No, it's like they made her, we don't want you to be hot and we want you to be miserable.
Yeah.
Second down.
Martin Lawrence, 60 years old today. Always love me some Martin Lawrence, but ultimately, better career, Martin Lawrence or Trevor Lawrence?
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Martin, the TV show.
It was
funny.
They could reboot that, and it could be really, really good because they can make that thing filthy. Trevor Lawrence won a national championship, number 1 overall pick. He's making $45 million a year. He's
doing good.
Doing well, but
he's underachieved in the NFL.
But one of my guilty pleasures is the Bad Boys franchise.
Oh, they're so much fun.
I mean, him and Will Smith together are really, really good chemistry.
And who was the great comedian that passed way too soon?
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Did he and was he on the Martin Show? Or were they back to back programming on Fox?
They might have been back to back because Bernie had his own sitcom, the Bernie Mac.
They were in.
I found Bernie's show funny too.
They were in Life together.
Life the movie?
Yes, Life the movie.
I don't know.
Yeah, they were in Life the movie together.
Life the movie had a lot of that. You had Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Bernie Mac. Was Cedric the Entertainer in that? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Hughley?
DJ Hughley was not in that. There were a couple others.
We're going the full Kings of Comedy.
Yeah, I was trying to think of all the Kings of Comedy.
Oh,
that were
there's
in there.
Life right there.
Life is a funny, funny movie.
Eddie
Rick
Murphy.
James is in it.
Yeah, Rick James.
Yeah, Super Freak.
Yeah. God, it's a funny movie. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just so many
Ned
funny
Beatty.
lines in there.
Yeah, stick Ned Beatty in there.
See, I'm just not nearly as big on that movie as you. I saw that thing when it first came out, first week, I think, at the theater. I thought it was good, but...
And in typical Eddie Murphy fashion...
Go back up to Keith Burke. Down, line 3, Keith Burke, third guy over. Like Steph Curry if he got really old. Oh, nope.
Not what you get is pub shots.
That's his good pub shot. That other one
And
looked
then
like...
Keith Burke far right. Oh, you missed it. That's
No, there you go. I see it right there.
Steph Curry's smile.
Yeah. Older, a little heavier, chunkier Steph Curry post scene. Yeah.
Third down.
By the way, Ned Vaughn right there, I don't know how many movies he is in, but he plays villain really well. I've seen him in a couple of movies. I don't know. He plays a, what else has he been in?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Huntsville guy.
He's from Huntsville?
Yeah.
Is that what that said?
Oh, man. Alabama rings the bell.
Okay.
We're dating the Almond Joy girl and...
Oh, he was in Apollo 13.
What did he play in that? He wasn't. There were no villains in that.
I don't know.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 78 years old today. If I asked you ultimately better career, Kareem or Willie Nelson?
Kareem was the all-time scoring leader. I'm trying to think of a comparison to that for Willie Nelson.
Is there a chance Willie's played the most country concerts in the history of country music?
Oh, I'd say it's a great chance.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, still doing it. Yeah. When you need money.
I'm trying to get your comparison on how you got to Willie Nelson with Kareem. Kareem's
just
tall,
random.
which puts him high in the sky, and then Willie Nelson's
Well,
always just
you don't
high.
try to figure out before Dale's question.
Don't, but they're iconic.
Yeah.
The longevity from both of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Kareem is still doing Capital One commercials now.
I'm thankful that...
Cookies and Kareem.
I'm thankful that before the pandemic, I want to say it was 2017, 2018, I saw Willie Nelson, and it was in Family, and it was way, way, way past his prime and his bedtime.
Yep.
And that was almost a decade
Keep in mind,
ago.
that's almost
And
a
that was
decade
2018.
ago. Yeah.
But I admire his career. I just think there have been people who have done it as well as Willie Nelson in the music industry before. Few people have done it as well as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Lou Alcindor. I mean, he was unbeatable in college.
I mean, he changed rules.
Yeah. Well, as a freshman, his team beat the veterans at UCLA. Then he won a national championship all 3 years at UCLA. Then he went to Milwaukee and I think led them to an NBA championship.
Yeah.
Then he went to the Lakers and he won everywhere.
Yeah.
So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I would go
was in
Kareem as well.
Airplane.
And he was in Airplane.
He was, yeah.
And I think he's a black belt in martial arts at 7'4".
He was in, God, I forgot what the film was with Bruce Lee.
Right.
But I remember he kicked Bruce Lee, and that footprint was...
Yeah.
But Willie's one of those where...
Across his gi? Is that what it's called, a gi, Jeeves?
Yes, and it was in Game of Death, which was the last Bruce Lee movie ever.
Okay.
A fitting title.
Willie is one of those guys that I regret that I didn't see him in concert, but now I don't want to do it because you don't want your only Willie Nelson concert to be this version
Is
of
that
Willie
like going to
Nelson.
see Jordan for the first time as a Wizard?
Yeah, exactly. I got to see Michael Jordan.
Well,
Yeah, he scored 14.
I had a chance to sit with my friend John and Michelle in their little box at the old Oak Mountain Amphitheater, and Johnza used to play Auburn and a bunch of college towns in a band called 4 a.m. And he said it's 50-50 on nights with Willie Nelson at this point in his career. Some nights you get good Willie, and some nights you get really bad Willie. And I don't think it had anything to do with his
probably his weed intake for that.
Yeah, I don't think it did. I think it just maybe it was the lack of that made him bad Willie, good intake, good Willie. But that night, relatively speaking, Brown, I thought we had good Willie.
Yeah, maybe so.
So I was glad I saw him that night.
And I don't celebrate his entire catalog. There's some Willie Nelson stuff I don't particularly care for. Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground is my favorite Willie Nelson song.
Yes. Spanish Angel.
7 Spanish Angels. He and Ray Charles together, though, you're not going to get that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the key to that one. I mean, I don't really want
to recreate that.
Well, I don't want to hear Willie sing it by himself. I want to hear Willie and Ray Charles sing it.
Yeah. I think someone sings along with him in the Willie and Family concert.
But he doesn't do Ray Charles.
Good-hearted woman. In love with a good
I
man.
like Willie. I like Willie, but I still think I'd go Kareem.
She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good timing man.
That sounds just like it.
Yeah, I like you clapping nowhere close to home beat with that.
Yeah. You got to hit it on the ones and the threes.
That's the white man church clap. I'm on the ones and the threes.
Fourth down. Bill Belichick, 73 years old today. Ultimately, better career, Bill Belichick or Bill Clinton?
Boy, that is a difficult one there.
Boy, now that can we get the picture again for Bill Belichick from earlier?
Well, if you're going to compare her and Hillary.
Ironically, she's better looking than Monica Lewinsky, but
he looks better than anything Bill Clinton plowed through.
That we know of.
This girl is not that attractive to me. I am sorry.
No, but she's a lot more attractive than Jennifer Flowers and
Monica Lewinsky.
It's
probably a longer
all the
list.
skanks that Clinton.
with.
I'm sure Clinton probably came across one that looks better than that, but I'm just talking about the ones that are high profile. No,
I mean, I don't know. I don't like her cheekbones.
Dunaway, you've only touched that in a dream.
Shout out to my wife Maggie. Love you. Think she's beautiful. I don't know why LT hates you.
It's not a shot at Maggie.
No, that was not a shot at all to Maggie. I would say.
What's wrong with her cheekbones?
I don't like them.
Are you just meeting Jim? Jim is going to just tear apart anything he looks at.
I don't. This happens every time. He just picks like the
he
most
does.
random detail.
Have you met Jim? Have you not met Jim?
Is the cheeks not bothering you in that picture? Do they not look fake?
Well, she's sucking in. She's
It
like
just
doing
looks
the.
like she's posing for a photo.
Yeah.
I bet
and
she
has lots of
loves the
makeup on.
cheeks.
Yeah.
The thing Jim does is he finds the one thing he's not going to like, but he's consistent in doing it. It's any meal he eats, it's any national landmark he visits, or it's any female he sees. I mean, you would agree with that, right?
I just want to be prepared, worst case scenario. Like if I have to look at those cheeks the rest of my life. Come on. No way.
Jacob says still no way she mops the floor with Steffi Graf.
I mean, she really does. So let's just say
How does she
hypothetically
compare to
you were
Rebel
single
Fox?
and she matched with you. You'd look at her and be like, well, those cheeks are
With
a
her?
deal breaker. Yeah.
First of all, coming off Bill Belichick, I'm not going to eat where Bill Belichick sleeps. I'm sorry.
All right. Do we consider Bill Belichick the greatest football coach of all time?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, greatest pro football coach of all time?
Yes, I mean you have to, I think, based on just pure numbers, right?
Yeah, I think Bill Clinton was a very successful president. Obviously there was some controversy that marred his presidency, but accomplishment-wise,
he did a lot of good things.
He was a very successful president.
Changed the way we really do campaigns in our country. I thought he started, and I think the Republicans really got really good at this. But he did a sort of a folksy, down-home, not called the Tea Party, but a different way of attacking big establishment politics in our country that got him elected in 1992. And I think the Republicans got really good at doing that with Donald Trump.
Not a popular take probably here, but much easier to be a president than a Super Bowl winning coach. Much easier.
That's bull crap. No. Easier being a president than a Super Bowl winning.
Yes.
That I think that speaks to our lack of knowledge of what the president has to do on a day in and day out basis.
I think you can take 100 intelligent people that are updated on a lot of different things, and you get the right personnel around them, I think they're fine. I think for a head coach in the NFL to win Super Bowl after Super Bowl,
no,
I kind of agree with Lance on this. The level
I know you do, yeah.
The level of people we currently have running for and are electing president.
And I could have sworn that you said before, like, I just believe in the status quo. Like, typically, whoever's running the country.
No, I support whoever runs the country.
No,
absolutely.
I get
My
that.
president.
No, I'm just talking about
100 senators, I think, define our country. They have so much power in our Supreme Court. So the president doesn't have ultimate power. But Dan Lanning can't sleep at night because he lost to Ohio State. How do you go to sleep every night knowing that while you're asleep, there could be a knock on the door, you got to get awake to go make a decision that could end society?
Yeah, but are you really making that decision?
Ultimately, you are.
Well, I think the truth is either of them are only as good as their assistants.
You got to be good.
The president of the United States is only as good as his cabinet, and the Super Bowl winning coach is only as good as his coordinators.
But
if he's got crap
Belichick
coordinators.
had those leaving nonstop.
Yeah,
nonstop.
but none of them were
he did
bad.
have his quarterback leaving, though.
Yeah.
Right? So I get, if you tell me the U.S. Constitution is Tom Brady and that's what helps the president, then maybe we're close.
You know what Joe Biden was? Cam Cameron.
Yeah. Pick a president and whatever you want to say about it. Yeah. I respect Donald Trump, despite whatever you guys paint me politically. I respect Donald Trump as president of the United States. It's a tough-ass job, and it's nowhere close to what you have to deal with as an NFL quarterback, a coach to win a Super Bowl.
No, I'm not saying you have to deal with more. I think there are more people that could be president that could be people that could randomly just win a Super Bowl as a head coach. It's not even close. Not even close.
I disagree. I don't think we have our best people running for president, but I think the job of presidency is harder than the job of a Super Bowl winning coach.
Someone in the chat brings up a good point. He says, look at the before and after pictures of presidents.
Well, look at coaches. Those guys, especially in college, they age in dog years.
And presidents don't?
Oh, no, they both do. They both do. But that recruiting trail in college will put the age on.
I'd much rather be a coach than a politician.
No doubt.
But what's Tommy Tuberville doing a better job as? Senator or head coach?
I love Tommy Tuberville, and I do not want to comment on what he's doing as Senator of the United States.
I really don't know. I know he's trying to get rid of TSA.
I would tell you that is 4 Downs, though, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
Bow time at Bojangles. You no longer have to decide between sweet and savory at breakfast. Right now, you can get that brand new chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles for a limited time. It's bow time.
And I tell you, you wake up at 46 degrees, you go to bed at 78 degrees at night with a little humidity, hemp hill working overtime, and now is the perfect time before we start hitting 90s plus to get that air conditioning checked out.
Yeah, look, and unfortunately, if the AC unit goes down, right now, $1,000 off all HVAC, 0% financing from our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531.
888-866-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by AmFirst, is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Trash coming up momentarily. If you missed it, we've rolled through a variety of different portal stories in football. Nico, next step, and Plains, Tennessee Plains in Tampa, with the internet buzzing that Rocco Beck could be the next quarterback of the Vols. We've talked about Bill Belichick and maybe a couple of his better players hitting the portal. We've touched on that earlier. We've hit the basketball portal where Auburn picked up a big starting piece from Mississippi State yesterday in Keshawn Murphy. And we reminded you that you can go catch the conversation with another big portal get, Keshawn Hall. Apparently they are only getting Keshawns in the portal right now at Auburn. But you can go check out Taylor and I, the basketball show, Keshawn Hall. That conversation on him leaving UCF to be part of Auburn coming up this basketball season. That and much, much more on the show earlier today. That's being brought to you today by our friend Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorney.
That's right. You can call them anytime. Start at Shunnarah.com when you're in need of an attorney. Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Elite trial lawyers that have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Well, we talk about schedules and you know, whether it's the presidency or NFL quarterback coaches winning Super Bowls and just the toughness of jobs and everything. Maybe the biggest grind in all of sports, the NASCAR season. They are off this weekend, Easter weekend. This has turned into their only off weekend of the season. They raced 37 out of 38 straight weekends on NASCAR's top circuit, the Cup Series at the top. Only Easter weekend.
Easter weekend. It used to be Easter and Mother's Day. Do you remember that? They used to have Mother's Day off, so they said only Jesus and Mom can stop NASCAR, was the old saying.
So from February the 14th, the Twins on Thursday night, Daytona 500, February 16th, until November 2nd.
So you really get technically four total months off.
Yeah. That's an insane schedule where now you're off, unless you've got sponsor deals, you're off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday probably. Travel track on Friday.
Yeah, I think baseball's a little bit more of a grind.
Is it?
You get days off and they platoon you some.
Yeah, the only thing about NASCAR is there are no rest days. Like, you race every event. I mean, PGA Tour guys do not play every single event.
But I guess your dugout days, your platoon days are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you get that every week. So I would agree with Lance. What do you think a starter not named Cal Ripken Jr. plays in a year of 162?
150, 155.
Ooh, 155 is a big number.
Yeah. Outside of catchers,
But you think
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
You think, like, I remember do you remember our buddy Travis Haney? I was thinking about him randomly the other day.
He went to Charlotte, right, with Will Healy?
Yeah, he was at Charlotte with Will Healy.
He's right for ESPN college football.
For ESPN. He's off in private business now, but he used to cover the Braves. And I thought it sounded awful. He loved it. But I was like, I started doing the math. And he was at every Braves game, okay? Every one they played. Spring training included. So I was like, so wait a minute. You spent 30 days in Florida for spring training. And he started doing the math. He goes, yeah, that's about right. And I said, and then 162 games, 81 of those are on the road. So you're on the road 81 more days. So
at least.
Well, no. Now we're up to 110. And then when you consider the travel to get to the road games and back, that's another, couple days there, 40 times or so. So that's another 40 times. I was like, I mean, you're at 150, 160 days on the road, bare minimum.
Man, I just remember
crazy.
Doing the play-by-play in the Jayhawk League, and it was just a summer. So we really started mid-May and went until mid-August. So what is that, 3 months? And it was 5 days a week, 5 or 6, and it was just calling a game was a grind.
Of course, I also know a guy that used to work for a company. He was it was a little bit like the movie, the George Clooney movie where he's flying up in the air.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it? Up in the Air. And he was a consultant. And there were a lot of times, like, he would find out Friday, okay, Monday you're going to be in Wichita, Kansas.
Yep.
And he'd be in Wichita, and they would call him and say, when you're done Wednesday in Wichita, we're flying you to
Seattle,
Washington.
Boy, that would be awful.
Oh,
and he was back home Saturday and Sunday, but the rest of the week he's on the road.
I dated a girl in high school he was a big car dealership consultant, late 80s, early 90s, who he would fly out on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, or Monday morning really, really early.
You dated the daughter.
Yeah, the daughter,
Okay.
yeah. Until he would fly to a dealership, could be San Francisco, could be New York, could be, Omaha. But he would go to a dealership every week or a car show every week, fly out either Monday morning or Sunday night, and then not fly back home until Thursday night.
I could not operate that way, but I guess if you get used to it.
Well, you would have to be exhausted. I mean, it sounds like a joke for somebody that's on a roof right now that'll work a 14-hour day.
Oh, listen, we admit we're soft.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
we don't.
But there's something about traveling that it's exhausting.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I mean, just having to deal with the airport and all that wears me out. Now, you get good at it when you're those people, and you fly enough that you've got the upgrades to be in first class a lot, I would think, and that is a bit of a different travel situation.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
And you get all the good deals. I've seen the George Clooney movie. You get all the good deals.
All right.
Did Sam Elliott come give him his wings?
He did, man. It didn't go like he thought it was. He thought he was going to be happier, though, didn't he?
Perfect pilot.
Yeah.
NFL draft 1 week from tomorrow night. Shedeur Sanders getting a private workout for the Giants. We'll see if Jalen Milroe, always on one of our big screens here in the studio, they're always showing Milroe highlights, and they're debating on where he'll be picked in the NFL draft. We'll know if he's a first rounder 1 week from tomorrow night.
Heard the Rams are in the mix now. He's visiting.
For Milroe?
He's going to visit Sean McVay. And
so he's basically your backup to Stafford, and if Stafford retires, if we like him, we'll give him a shot. Yeah. That's basically the role.
I don't absolutely hate it. I mean, the thing I can't get, Milroe is just, it was the strangest season I've ever seen, because you guys know this. His highs were so high. If you can somehow bottle that, you've got the next Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Whether or not that can happen, we'll see.
They're talking on McAfee right now about Cam Ward talking Tennessee Titans while he's gaming. So that's audio on a headset as he's gaming with somebody else. He's talking about being a Tennessee Titan. I would be excited.
Don't you pause the game?
Yeah, I would think so.
I would be excited about being a Tennessee Titan of the future. That new stadium, I think, is going to change that franchise.
That's just been one of those franchises that's never done it for me. I don't know. You're talking about inconsistency. I mean, they'll be 12-4 one year, and the next year, now with 17 games, a little bit different. But then, they would be, 5-11.
Yeah. I mean, Nashville is a good place to live, and it's getting more and more crowded. I don't know if it's getting better to live there. It's getting more crowded.
Probably getting worse to live there.
Depending on what I tell you what, a lot of prominent people keep moving there, Lance, for it to be worse to live there.
107 people a day.
So does the Adams family still own
the Daughters? Daughter's the controller.
Yeah, Amy Adams Strunk, I think, is her married name.
Boy, if she sold it to somebody that was a real up-and-comer or a guy not afraid to spend a little money, that would be an interesting franchise of the future with that new stadium going in downtown. Let's get to trash. Before we do that, remember this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew there. Great family-owned business, neighborhood location there. There are Champy's everywhere. Visit those. It's good, but nothing like Sterling's place at champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. The chicken is brined overnight. Sterling is so consistent, making it perfect every time you order it. Cooked to order, never under a heat lamp. Hand-cut chicken fingers. Oftentimes Sterling himself hand-cutting the chicken fingers. Sides, desserts specially made right there, including Mississippi mud pie and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's all right there. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Congratulations, The Cure Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees 2019. Are you as excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, our friends at Bud Light.
So, did you guys remember the old bomb threats in high school?
Oh, yeah. You'd call it in if you had a test you weren't ready for or something like that.
Yeah, I remember somebody calling one in because of a test that was coming up.
And it was pre-9/11, so you probably got a little slap on the wrist for it. It's a little different world we live in now.
It is different. 19-year-old man was upset at his girlfriend for going on a cruise, has been sent to prison for making a bomb threat to the ship.
Yeah, it's probably going to get you in prison in most cases now.
Joshua Lowe from Michigan admitted that he was annoyed that he had to watch pets while his partner and her family went on a Caribbean cruise, leading him to take those drastic measures.
Man,
now,
his
sending an email.
girlfriend's hot, though.
That is Sandra Bullock.
Oh, okay.
It's Speed 2. We hit the water. You do that, right?
I did.
Okay, good.
Sending an email to Carnival Corp Cruise Lines, Mr. Lowe casually wrote, "Hey, I think someone might have a bomb on your Sunrise cruise ship." What followed was a search of over 1,000 rooms after the ship had departed Miami in January of 24. Sunrise liner was heading for Jamaica, had to be diverted to port after authorities were alerted. Assistant U.S. Attorney Niels Kessler said, quote, FBI agents trace the email addressed to Lowe, who was living with his girlfriend's family. Lowe admitted he sent the message because he was upset that the family went on the cruise while leaving him behind to care for the pets. Anyone making a bomb threat should expect to be taken at his word. Fortunately, this particular hoax did not result in physical injury. Mr. Lowe has been sentenced to 8 months in prison for making the false bomb threat on Monday. The offense carries a maximum penalty up to 5 years.
I'm going to say, in hindsight, taking care of the pets far better than prison?
Yeah, and I wonder what the dynamic now is between the girlfriend's parents and him living there.
Can't be great.
No, it
can't be great.
Or even with a girlfriend, LT. I mean, it's not like it was a bouquet of flowers and a nice ring or something.
Bomb threat.
Bomb threat.
Yes. Some women like the bad boys.
I mean, how psychotic are you at that point? You never come back from that.
Brown is the only individual I know, I'm sure others have done this, that will make the coffee just to smell it, pour it out.
Done that before.
And
many
also
times.
walk into the beer cave at the local convenience store just to cool down, but not buy beer.
After a hot day on the golf course, several times I have walked into the beer cave and just stood there for a minute to reset the old internal temp. Yeah.
A school nutrition administrator has been arrested for committing a terribly unappetizing act inside of a beer cave at a Pennsylvania convenience store. An employee at the Royal Farms location in Hanover last week called police to report that an unknown woman had, quote, come in the previous day and defecated in the beer cave.
The unknown woman did it? I'd expect this from a boorish man.
As described in a probable cause affidavit, the beer cave is, quote, a walk-in cooler open to the public to select cooled beverages. All the doors into the beer cave and cooled areas are clear glass, providing visual of the inside from the common area of the store. Police review of the store security footage shows the suspect, quote, pushing a case of alcohol beverages back on the shelf, pulling her pants down, and defecating on the shelves, then leaving. Now, cameras recorded the woman arriving at Royal Farms in an SUV. The vehicle's registered owner identified as Crystal Goss, 47, as the individual driving the car when the offense occurred. Driver's license photo of Goss, quote, matched the subject depicted in the surveillance footage.
Yeah, I would tell you that at one point she screamed, "Ain't no laws when you're drinking the claws."
What's the normal beer cave temperature? 30, 39?
35,
34 to 38 probably.
Okay. When's the last time you opened the dang door, Brown?
Well, I stand in there for quite a while, so I'm not in and out as quick as anyone. I got to get that body temperature re-regulated.
Heading down to the lake, there's a place called Beer Island, and it is freezing.
Do you have to have a passport to get on Beer Island?
Beer Island.
You just have to have a 21-plus ID,
21 plus, and it's cold like the beer's almost frozen, right?
Yeah. Parkland man was arrested, charged with domestic battery after allegedly assaulting his wife by shooting a snot rocket at her during a heated altercation. Now, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Office incident report, the dispute unfolded when the suspect, Yoel Mizrahi, 67, became involved in a verbal dispute with his wife at their home. Victim told deputies that she attempted to calm the situation. Mizrahi allegedly responded by launching mucus from his nose in her direction, spitting on her, grabbing her by the collar of her shirt before forcefully throwing her to the ground. Records show the assault left visible red marks on the victim's right arm and chest area. After an on-scene investigation and speaking with both parties, deputies determined Mizrahi should be arrested and charged with domestic battery.
Yoel. What are you doing, man? Snot rockets?
God, that's disgusting. I mean, now, back to the discussion yesterday. It is in front of urine and vomit. Like, of things, if I'm going to get hit by one of those three, I'll go snot rocket in front of urine and vomit.
Oh, I would go urine, snot rocket, then vomit.
Wow. Well, your love of keeping urine number one in this. Where does the beer cave poop go?
Oh, that's below urine.
Yeah, no, that's probably worse than vomit. It's close.
Yeah. Okay, so it would be urine, snot rocket, vomit, poop at that point.
Yeah.
Well, urine's going to be the
Oof.
I mean,
I'd rather have a snot rocket than urine. Now, people pointed out yesterday, as bad as urine sounds, it is sterile when it hits you.
That was going to be my point.
I mean, snot rocket is not sterile. It's probably carrying something that's going to get you sick. If ingested.
Very strange story here. A fan of the H3 podcast phoned in to ask Ethan Klein to help him name his rare genetic condition after being approached to do so by the National Institute of Health.
Yeah.
Now, on April 11th, a caller named Typo was featured as a special guest on an episode of the H3 podcast where he described his unique genetic disorder and the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity it's giving him. Typo explained that he had been ill most of his life, but was only properly diagnosed after going to the hospital when he began to feel especially sick 5 years ago. After getting a full blood workup, doctors said he had stage 4 cancer, but 8 biopsies and several invasive surgeries later, it was actually determined that Typo was, quote, aging differently due to an issue with his telomeres. Telomeres are protective structures on the ends of chromosomes that help prevent them from unraveling or getting entwined with each other. Think of them like the caps on the end of your shoelaces, which, Steves, are called?
Aglets.
Wow, look at you.
When you're born, your telomeres are long. They gradually shorten as you age. However, Typo's telomeres are extremely short despite being in his early 30s, leading to a whole host of medical issues for him. According to Typo, quote, your cells either need to stop dividing or they die. In fact, Typo didn't have a detectable telomere on his chromosomes at one point. For now, doctors are working to determine whether Typo's condition is an autoimmune disease or a telomere biology disorder. But in the interim, the National Institute of Health has given him the opportunity to name it. Now, at first, Typo thought Ligma was the perfect fit, but worried that it was too low effort.
Yeah.
The doctor he initially spoke to about it didn't get the joke. Suggestions came flooding in from the chat, which included everything from BOFA, Shrek swamp disease, and the Benjamin Button cancer disease, which I really like the BBC there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go. It's Benjamin Button. It's the I mean, it's sadly some of the diseases are named after people, but
that's right.
Benjamin Button.
Have you ever had ligma?
I've never had ligma. I don't think.
Do you want ligma?
Is this in these nuts?
It is, yes.
Benjamin Button, by the way, really good movie.
I've never seen it. It's a weird movie that you swear by.
Yeah. I'm a big David Fincher guy, though.
Yeah. Bofa. You've had Bofa, right?
That is trash brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
You like Wendy's?
Seattle and Cincinnati 5:40 tonight on FS1. Kansas City and the Yankees tonight at 6 o'clock as you continue to find your baseball on different sources all throughout the place on Prime Network there. All right, we're getting ready to move into the offseason. We found out yesterday our SEC Media Days officially now set July 14th through the 17th in Atlanta, as we thought it would be. July 15th, the All-Star game in Atlanta. We also found out the days that teams will be speaking, coaches and players. Here's the kickoff schedule. Kickoff Media Days in Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame. And if you're looking for some storylines, how about LSU right out of the gate, Lane Kiffin right out of the gate on day number 1, Auburn and Hugh Freeze and Kirby Smart, and Tennessee and Texas on a big, massive Tuesday.
That is a big Tuesday.
That is a big Tuesday, and it's a little different schedule for Auburn. They've been last day a lot. This is moving up in the schedule a bit for them.
My spray tan will be broken in by Tuesday.
Yeah, you'll be looking good.
On Wednesday, as LT starts to fade, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma.
That seems like that is Alabama's permanent spot, doesn't it, that Wednesday?
That Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then on the final day, you got Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Texas A&M.
Not a
or
ton
the
of storylines.
getaway day there. So let's just go.
We can bold early, can't we?
That's the first thing I thought.
One day at a time. Let's rate these.
Okay.
Best chance the SEC champion comes from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday. I don't know why I did it very Godfather style.
Right.
A Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Monday, a Thursday.
So the best day for a conference champion is probably Tuesday.
Because of
Georgia, Texas.
Oh, yeah, the rematch from last year.
And Auburn, Tennessee.
Yeah, with just Georgia and Texas. I mean, Auburn and Tennessee could factor in, but Georgia and Texas. Well, I'm just going favorites here.
Wow.
And then
at Ryan Brown.
Those will be your two favorites.
That's your two favorites.
Yeah.
That's
and
all
I think
I'm saying.
Alabama will slot in at number 3.
Yeah, but
so
then,
Wednesday would be your next choice? Or would you go Monday?
Well, you don't have a whole lot of drafting partners for Alabama on Wednesday. I don't think Florida will compete for it. I know State won't.
I'm with LT on Oklahoma being an improvement. Mateer may be the most sought-after quarterback in the portal, and Ott probably should have been the most sought-after running back in the portal. I thought I was going to ask this question of Connor O'Gara. You beat me to it by a question. That Oklahoma Sooner roster looking better and better, and some healthy receivers this year if they can stay healthy.
And I do think the defense is going to be good. I mean, you look at Venables, look at what they did to Alabama, holding them to 3 last year. So the defense should be solid again. The offense is going to be much better. We'll see.
Ott's got 31 touchdowns, 3 seasons there.
I mean, Mateer plus Ott is probably the best combo addition we've seen in the portal as of yet.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you consider it's in the same backfield. I mean, it's not like you added a defensive back and a quarterback.
And just on the fly, I mean, is there a better quarterback running back combination coming into the season in the SEC?
I would say no. I've seen more of Ott than I have of Mateer, though. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I watched a ton of John Mateer. I've looked at his numbers. I know what people say about him, but, I mean, how many Washington State games did you watch? I watched them play Washington in the Apple Cup.
I watched too many, but
I watched all the Apple Cup.
Which was a fantastic game, by the way.
It was.
I watched all the Apple Cup.
He was a DraftKings must-have last year.
Mateer was?
Yeah,
playing those late night, what was it, CW21 games that they were on all the time? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember losing to that guy occasionally.
So I don't know, but I mean, I think Jaden Ott and John Mateer, there's no doubt that's a heck of a duo coming out of the portal.
Sneaky Monday, though, with Lane Kiffin entertaining on Twitter, not as much interview, but LSU That Nussmeier back for LSU is a big storyline to me, and they've spent a lot of money in the portal, don't you think?
I mean, that's been the reports, is that they were all in on the portal for Brian Kelly this year, which, again, that's only going to apply Brian Kelly pressure. Lance asked the question, under the more pressure, Brian Kelly or Hugh Freeze?
Yeah. God, we didn't really bring up Kyron Lacey. What a terrible situation
it's
there.
Awful, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I hate to see that.
Our final thought today brought to you by our friends at NASCAR Brownie. One more time on how you can get tickets for the race next weekend.
TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, April 25th through 27th. That is, as Jim said, next weekend, the Jack Links 500 weekend there at Talladega Superspeedway. Reserve your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. If you have never been to a race at Talladega, you are absolutely missing out. Do not miss it anymore. April 25th through 27th, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
All right. So Ryan Grubb gets asked a question that I think a lot of coaches are looking at as we look at the salary cap coming likely, maybe about $15, $16, $17 million on a football roster in the future of the shared earnings. Ryan Grubb gets asked a question. A lot of coaches, Hugh Freeze has had to answer this. How many quarterbacks are you planning on carrying on your roster? You can't really go unlimited quarterbacks anymore. Ryan Grubb, Alabama's OC, answered that question earlier this week.
With the transfer portal making it hard to hang on to a fourth, is 3 quarterbacks kind of the new number to carry?
I think that's probably fair. I would never say no, like we're never going to have a fourth scholarship quarterback. I think every year presents potentially differently as far as where you have guys staggered in their classes and things like that. So you never want to say you can't add a fourth guy, especially if it's a unique situation. But for us, I think, the timing and where those guys are at developmentally, you're in a pretty good spot.
Boy, that's scary injury-wise. In the NFL, you've got 2 quarterbacks and the emergency guy that you can activate. But if one of those 2 gets hurt, you just go get it's not going to be a good quarterback. You get a quarterback out of free agency. You at least got a guy you could start. Boy, in college, you get 2 guys hurt. What do you do?
Interesting question to ask some of these coaches once we get into SEC Media Days. I would assume you run a Wildcat package. You have a good athlete back there taking snaps. That's about it.
Not ideal.
I mean, you've got former high school quarterbacks who are playing wide receiver or DBs.
Yeah.
Probably have to take some snaps at some point just to be emergency 4th-string quarterbacks.
And better options probably there than Christian McCaffrey in the NFC Championship game for
probably
San Francisco.
But, I think that's where a Hines Ward type, Randall Cobb type player becomes hugely valuable.
Yeah.
Even more than they used to be.
Go ahead and say his name. You hadn't said it in 2 weeks. Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah. He'll find a way to be on a roster, it seems like.
Absolutely.
All right, that's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Remember, set your alerts for all the programming we have going on, including the Pennant Grace live every Tuesday and Thursday, and, of course, the Meltdown every day at 2 o'clock Central live for you there. Always great content coming out of all of our programming up here at Double Down Media. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.